In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Pons and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot. I like that song.
Quite fun.
There.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Best Gen. It's called Best Gen because we're all. It's the show where nerds complain about nerdy things, and it's called Best Gen. We're all roughly from the same gen. Happen to think that it's the best, not because we as people are better, but because our entertainment was. So we prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce on the days of yore and complain about the filth that has flooded the theaters and our home theaters. And movies are bad now. Thanks for joining the show. Give you a little cheer for you guys. We know you have plenty of options for entertainment on this sunny Sunday night. At least it's sunny here. It's been snowing all week. It snowed all through March, and first day of April clears up. Literally, it's kind of crazy. At least here in Utah.
Blame that global warming.
Not. It hasn't been snowing in Mexico, I assume.
I never seen smoke in my life. I mean, snow.
No.
Snow.
Yeah.
We see smoke.
Yeah, snow in my life.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I grew up in the Sierras, and so yeah, snow is very much a part of my life. Although where I'm at now in California, it doesn't get snow really at all. Although where I met David, that doesn't usually get much snow, but they've been getting quite a bit of snow
Yeah,
this year. So
yeah, they've been getting crazy snow in Grass Valley, California, Northern California, where we used to live. There were people that were out of snow for weeks because power lines went down. And it was insane.
Well, it's been a crazy week. Thank you for joining us. If you're in the chat, feel free to participate in the conversation. We'll bring up your chats. If you want to become a channel member, it costs 99 cents, and you get access to emojis and the benefit of supporting my kids. Your subscription fees will pay for a packet of applesauce for each of my kids once a month.
Tasty.
I think I can get three applesauces for 99 cents. So, am I trying to dilute? Yes. I would shout out to Mark Clark, our one member.
That's a good deal, actually.
Yeah, if you sign up now, you're gonna have 50% of the shares.
You got to get in on the ground floor.
Yeah, it's an investment.
I'm absolutely trying to dilute Mark Clark's membership, but the more members you have, the more emojis you get. You can add more stuff. The more people sign up. So, if you want to support me more, you can sign up on Patreon because the percentages are better. That's why I made YouTube tier real cheap. But the YouTube tier also gives you a discount, a store-wide discount on all my merch if you want merch that I worked hard on. So anyway, back to the show.
I'd rather have merch that you didn't put any effort into at all.
All right, I can come up with some of that too. Well, I mean, some of the shirts were a little bit less work than others. So
Okay,
one of
I'll
them, there are some shirts that just have the logo, so I already had to do that work.
Excuse me, I did that work for you.
Yeah, and I made a better one. So I already had to have my brother do all the work, and then I just put it on a shirt. So, but then there's some that, and then I had some AI do some of the work for me, but then I like added stuff to it. It wasn't just AI.
Yeah.
Clark is in the basement. What a week. I am currently exhausted. My sleep schedule has been off this whole week, but it's been super productive because I've been awake taking care of my kids, and literally every day this week I've fallen asleep at 6:00 p.m. when my wife gets home from work, and then woken up at midnight and I've had time alone. I've had time to get work done. Mm-hmm. So I got YouTube videos done, and I've been working really hard on my album, which I've been teasing for a while. I want to have it done by the end of the second quarter. So halfway
3 more months.
We're close. We're close. Composite, I'm like 90% done composing the songs, and now it's just recording vocals and mastering. So I'm super excited about that.
Nice.
I'm trying to get my cousin to commission the album art, but I don't know. He's been real busy, so I got. I have some alternatives that I've made myself that aren't great, but we'll see about that. The news, lots of stuff happened this week, and there wasn't a whole lot of entertainment. We've got one episode of The Mandalorian to watch or to talk about, and we've got news and we've got bad takes. And I watched the wrong Dungeons and Dragons movie. But it was.
I watched the right one.
As did I.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, but we literally had a conversation. I'm like, I'm not going to see D&D this week.
I got it confused. I thought you said
see it next Tuesday.
I thought you were seeing Mario Bros next week. So
I'm seeing Mario and Dungeons and Dragons next week.
Okay.
Because I wait. I don't see it opening night. I go see it on the following Tuesday because tickets are half off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing Dungeons and Dragons next week. Everyone else has already seen it. And then I'm taking my son to go see Mario movie on Saturday because I'm splurging.
Yeah,
and because he's 7, and it's Mario. Decor. Oh, that's a deep cut. That is a deep cut, and no one else is going to get that joke. But did Corwin's mom pick out the D&D movie that I watched? No. You are obviously referring to the time that Corwin's mom accidentally rented a porno, thinking it was a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and showed it to the whole family. Corwin's not going to make it. He's stuck at work, I believe, and Jared always shows up a little bit late. Have you guys all? I know David, you've seen it, but have Jared and Mexa, have you seen the old D&D movie with Jeremy Irons?
I thought I had, but I was watching the Everything Wrong With video for it because they posted that this week to capitalize on the new one, and I didn't recognize it. So no, I don't believe I have. And honestly, just for Jeremy Irons, I actually really want to go watch it just because Jeremy Irons.
That's why you see the movie. Look, it's bad. It's a terrible movie, and I love it with all of my heart. It's the exact same vein as the Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo and
Yeah.
It's not
What's
that bad.
it's
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 not
bad.
that bad.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I was watching it. I made
they're
half
both
through it.
pretty bad.
So
Mario Brothers.
I know I've seen the old movie, but I could have sworn it had Tom Hanks in it.
No,
Is
David.
there-
David, you're thinking of Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah,
It has
that's the
Marlon
one.
Mayans.
I need to see that too.
Yeah.
Marlon
okay.
Mayans doing Marlon Mayans.
That movie was awful. Mazes and Monsters.
Okay,
Do not
first.
see that.
Okay, I will talk about Mazes and Monsters. Okay, but the Dungeons and Dragons movie, it's almost as bad as the old Mario Brothers movie. It's funny that they're both coming out at the same time. It's horrible. But it's super entertaining to watch. It's hilarious to watch.
It's really funny to watch.
I keep getting it mixed up with Jingle by the Way because I think that Sinbad is in it, but it's not Sinbad is in Jingle by the Way. This one is one of the Wayans brothers.
Marlon Wayans, yeah.
Wayans, whatever. Wayans. I don't know how to say it. So
I think I've heard it pronounced Wayans for some
reason. He's the plucky black sidekick that's just incredibly miscast and is constantly like, tossing out one-liners that don't land. And
feels like he wrote the jokes.
It's a very entertaining movie to watch. And even beyond the camp, like just watching it for Jeremy Irons' performance it's a pleasure because you could tell that he read the script and he's like, oh, or he probably got sent the offer and was like, oh, sure, I'll do a D&D movie. That sounds fun. I probably knows people who play the game and that sounds fun. And then he walks on set and sees how bad everything is. And he just decided to have fun. So you can see he's just having a blast and just overdoing everything. Because his performances are normally like pretty subtle. He's always able to do like the menacing, but it's usually pretty reserved.
Yeah.
And such.
Yeah, it's calm and calculated evil.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this, he is off the rails.
Actually, there was a joke in Family Guy where Jeremy Irons had a cereal and he's like all calm. I don't know any Jeremy Irons movies, but I've seen that cutaway, so I thought always that he was like a reserved person with no feelings, showing like no feelings or subtle movements.
He's Alfred in the Zack Snyder's Batmans.
Yeah.
He's also, and this one may not click for you, but he's also the voice of Scar in Lion King.
He's the voice of Scar in Lion King.
Yeah.
In
as
English,
long as you've seen the English version, not dubbed. Yeah.
Spanish or...
No.
That's for me. Anytime I hear him talk, I'm just like, oh, he has such a great voice as Scar, and I love it.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where like I'm fine with whatever they picked, whoever they picked for the new Lion King. I'm just sad that it wasn't Jeremy Irons because I loved his voice as Scar. It was just so perfect, but it's its own separate movie. The only one they brought over being Mufasa.
It's its own separate horrible movie. So, I forgot to introduce everybody. We're joined by my brother David. He's got his channel, the Shelf Help Gaming. We've got the Angry Mexa. He's got his channel, the Angry Mexa. And we got Bearded. You guys have anything to plug? No? Yes? We're good? Go subscribe. Yeah, D&D movie's crazy. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see it on Tuesday. All of the reports that I've seen have said it's a good movie. Yeah, all of the people minus one that I like regularly watch on YouTube said I enjoyed it, and one of them said, "Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't my taste."
Sure, I can see that. Yeah, it was fun. It surprised me how good it was. I went in, expecting another awesome franchise and intellectual property to be
Because they told us to expect one.
Exactly. Well, again, it's the same thing with Andor. It's just somebody
Andor
rattling
and
their
House
mouth
of the
off
Dragon.
and saying that, oh yeah, this is totally going to be a
That's gonna be
commentary on
so,
a post-Trumpian era, and we're going to do all this, and they're just
And
seeing
I'll
whatever
even
they see.
I'll even give them this because just in the same, like we talk a lot about how like the movies shouldn't have too many messages in them or whatever. Honestly, I think these are situations where the messages are probably there, and I think that there is something to be pulled out of even Andor or whatever else. But they don't let it dominate the movie. They don't let it dominate the
not
thing.
what it's about. Yeah,
that's not what it's about.
if you want to
know?
read
So,
into it, whatever, then
yeah, it's
fine.
the same way that like the original Star Wars, it did have political connotations and political ideas behind it that George was trying to put out there, but it was still just a fun, good thing, and it wasn't dominated by the message there. Whereas, and so same thing with this, and same thing with Andor, whereas a lot of other things were kind of are dominated by it and overtaken by it, and don't end up being good, and trying to force a message down instead.
Is it actually good though, or is it just by comparison, it's not crap, and so you're like, wow,
no,
I liked it.
No, it was really fun. It was a
'Cause-
fun time. I think
Because that's
it
how I feel
respected the
about
source
Avatar
material.
2. Like I enjoyed myself in the theaters in Avatar 2. I liked the movie. It's not special, but it was just the absence of filth that was like, I'm enjoying myself right now.
No, I really enjoyed it. If I come across it on DVD, I might buy a copy of it on DVD if I do that. I'm
You
not
still
buying
buy
as many
DVDs
anymore. Occasionally, yeah.
You don't have a Blu-ray?
I get Blu-ray
David.
sometimes.
David, my brother's living in the
I just
dark
don't know
ages.
if it's worth the premium for all.
Living in the early 2000s.
But yeah, no, it was fun. I liked it. I thought it had some clever jokes. Sometimes it got a little bit extra silly, but that's fine. That's all part of the D&D package.
Yeah,
and it's not without criticism. I do have a couple issues and a few minor plot holes and inconsistencies about how specifically how the creatures were handled in particular instances, but.
Wow.
But it was really fun. I thought it respected the source material, and it was a really fun film. So
yeah, I'll say I'm a little bit less, like I'm a little lower than what David is saying. I had fun with it. I didn't have any
positive
with
than me about something.
I'm not as positive as you. Whoa. But I think there was a level at which I was wanting it to be a little bit more.
Yeah,
I know I missed most of the discussion from Shazam last week, but I ended up like having so much fun with Shazam in spite of the like plot holes and everything that I kind of wanted to have that much fun with this, and I didn't have that much fun with it. But there was really nothing that was like, oh man, I'm not having fun with this. It was just like I wanted it to hit me a little stronger. So I think that is all just whatever mood I was in, or the just a minor aspects of taste that maybe makes that difference, because it really is a fun movie, has some really, like David says, some really good laughs, great adventure, fun characters and everything. So it's a solid movie for sure.
But which one is better, Shazam or this one? The Fury of the Gods.
Well,
not all movies have to be fun.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, I had more fun with Shazam. Personally, I felt like I laughed more.
But that's not the question, Jared. Which movie is better?
Better. Oh, I see. See, I can only give you my which ones I liked better. So I think they were both pretty equally good, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It was fun. I look forward to getting into it more detail next week after you see it. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you guys see this?
Oh.
So Chris, it's funny because they were reporting that when in the article that we read where the writer said we love emasculating men, they said we had to keep pulling Chris Pine back, and because he kept wanting to act like an idiot, and we have to. Well, sometimes you have to act heroic, but this article paints a very different picture in that Chris Pine was doing, Henry Cavill and trying to make the story good.
Huh.
So his character was apparently uninteresting and unfunny, which is weird
for a bard.
For a bard,
yeah.
And yeah,
That is one thing, is I don't think that they played into him as a bard as much as I think that they could have, because
he was
everyone
originally
that I talked to
he was originally supposed to be a rogue,
Mm.
and so he made him less frustrated and more fun and bright and buoyant.
Yeah, I think it fits.
And
I think
more
a rogue
positive.
fits, but
Yeah, and they do use him as a bard in one. But I guess for me, I've also been talking with some of my other friends that are really big in D&D. Like I play D&D with some of my friends, but they're the ones that really know the worlds inside out and the characters in the different classes a lot better than I do just off the cuff. And in talking with them, they're like, man, bards are just a very versatile and unique and very powerful class that you could play, even though it seems weird for the concept of what they are. And I felt like that wasn't reflected in this, but
because I've heard he doesn't use a single bard spell, which I mean, it makes like for a live action adaptation. I can like a bard is kind of like metaphorical. In D&D they have like real magic spells, but like the idea of a bard is to like inspire the group. Like you literally have inspiration.
That's very much his role.
That you give them. It gives them a little bonus, and so like it's technically a magic spell, but it's because he's playing music. So
but you gotta show it.
I can understand them removing bard magic in a live action adaptation.
And David, to this point, I would even say the one time where they really use him as a bard, that's something that if they'd wanted to try to actually put that as him instead of the way that they do present it, to not spoil anything, that probably would have made a lot of sense. It would have worked. It would have been something that should have been done. Again, if they wanted to say he has some magic ability because of his bardness or whatever.
Yeah, no, I know the scene you're talking about, but we'll get into it more detail next week after you've seen it.
For sure. Yep.
Yes,
but it does have a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, 93% audience score.
It's getting good reviews.
Solid.
Like I said, it's
not
almost
perfect.
Like it's got some issues, but it's fun.
If you don't put garbage in your movies, people will watch it.
Which is baffling to me why they went out and said, hey, we're putting garbage in our movies.
It's not complicated. It's not complicated. Top Gun made a bunch of movie because it wasn't garbage.
Yeah, but it didn't win any Oscars, so...
You think this is going to win?
That's a plus in my book. Call Me by Your Name won an Oscar.
Not in their book, though. Just saying.
It won Best Picture, David.
Yeah.
I can't say the word.
I know. I understand.
Get us demonetized last time we talked about it.
I'm just saying.
I don't care. If
we
a
don't
movie
care.
doesn't get an Oscar,
but
that makes me want to see it more.
Agreed. But people that make the movies do kind of care about those things. Just saying.
I think they care about making money.
Yeah, box office is obviously the primary goal, but they still do care about winning awards.
Because it gives them prestige, at least in their own industry, which is what they care about within their.
But if you do the kind of movie, Oscar movies, Oscar baits, they call them.
Thanks for joining us.
Nice sorry, I was making dinner, so I mean, I'd probably turn off to eat dinner later. But
if you were confused, some people got confused and watched D&D a week early. So
I was going to watch it anyway.
I see.
I'll watch it myself.
I'm saving money because I wasn't sure if it was going to be woke or not. So I didn't know if I wanted to support it. I don't know. Maybe I might see it not on a Tuesday and pay more money on purpose because honestly, it's apparently not woke.
We weren't planning on seeing it either, but we had a game night scheduled over at friends' houses and babysitters already lined up, and then they canceled on us. They're like, "Hey, we got babysitters. Let's go see a movie." So,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I have the Regal Unlimited plan thing. So like, just going to a movie
that's still a thing.
By the time I get,
that's different from Movie Pass doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah, Movie Pass is different. Movie Pass was the not specifically affiliated, trying to do a version of that, but then also trying to like do it in a really sketchy way and not smart business.
And also during COVID, but
also during COVID was right when they were doing it too. But the actual theater's own versions of it have been really good. Because for me, it's the price of 2 movie tickets per month, and if I go to 2 movies in a month, then it's paying for itself. and I get
Nice.
concession discounts, and like there's no limits on anything. It's a really great setup. I don't
Has-
think there's Regals out by you guys though, so
has there
there's
been
maybe
two
one.
two new movies every month?
Yeah,
I
that's
feel, I
just
feel like
hated
there
it.
haven't been that many movies.
Oh, there's been tons of them. I also went and saw Champions this last week.
What is that?
It's Woody Harrelson. It's basically the Mighty Ducks, but he's coaching basketball and he ends up coaching Special Olympics
Okay,
athletes.
The
So
Mighty Ducks. Have you guys rewatched that movie?
I have not.
So,
It's been
so the
years,
guy is
like 20
forced.
years.
The main character is forced to coach the little league.
like Pee-wee,
It's
yeah,
not little league, but it's
Whatever
like
it is,
high
yeah.
school kids doing hockey.
Really?
Do you remember why he
Because he
has
got
to
a
coach?
DUI, wasn't it?
He gets a DUI. He's a drunk driver, and the judge says, "Hey, instead of going to jail,
Teach
you
some
gotta
kids.
coach
Work with kids."
hockey with
Yep.
kids. We want
Maybe
you around."
maybe nobody else wanted that job, you know.
The movie Champions, it's the same thing. He wrecks. He's driving drunk and looking at his phone. He sees a cop and he runs into the cop's car, and they make him coach the basketball instead of.
You know what? I want to see that
Why?
same movie, but they make him teach driver's ed or something. You know, something
Yeah.
that was like not fitting at
Yeah.
all with the crime that committed.
But it was an enjoyable movie.
It would
but, yeah.
almost be as absurd as someone getting arrested for graping women and then putting them in a women's prison. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wait. Oh yeah, that really happened.
Missed
Mhm.
that. I don't know. I'm not paying attention.
It's because they identified as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
so they got to go to their heaven, I guess.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. So, anyways, about movies, Mighty Ducks is a wild movie. David, you mentioned Mazes and Monsters because you thought that Tom Cruise was in the old D&D movie.
No,
Tom
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
So
Yeah.
Wrong Tom.
Tom
He
Hanks.
mixed up his Tom.
Sorry, I've got some Tom Cruise articles pulled up. Mazes and Monsters is a movie with Tom Hanks that was released in 1982.
Is it that old?
Yeah, baby.
Oh gosh.
And it was at the height of the satanic scare.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's when everybody was like, "Ooh, don't do D&D."
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's when everyone was like, D&D is making people unalive themselves, and it's
no.
anti-Christian. So Mazes and Monsters, that's the movie that David's thinking about. It's one of the worst movies of all time,
It's
and
pretty bad.
I love it. It's so good. The
You
premise.
know what makes me mad though? I'm looking here and I'm trying to see where I can go and watch the old Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I have to pay for it somewhere. Amazon or Apple or Google or YouTube. But Mazes and Monsters, it's free.
Hey, that sounds great.
It's on Pluto TV too.
You get what you pay for, though.
I don't know. You're making it sound like Dungeons and Dragons is worth paying for, and I don't think that's the
It
message
is.
you were sending
Oh, it
before
is.
that.
No, pay. Oh, it is worth money to see the old D&D movie. It is high quality entertainment. This
Like
one,
$5 perhaps. Nah, that's too much. Like $2.
$2.
Yeah, it's like $2.99. I think.
$2.
$2.99 is actually.
It's worth $2. That's cheaper. That's cheaper than like a movie rental when Blockbuster used to be.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Well,
Mazes of-
the new release movie rental was
Okay.
like $6.
Okay,
but the older
correct
ones you
me,
can get
fine.
for like $1.
So Mazes and Monsters is Tom Hanks goes to college, meets a nerdy friend who likes D&D, and Tom Hanks gets way into D&D, and he starts dungeon mastering and coming up with stories, and he gets so into it that he finds a cave like near the college, and he sets up a LARP adventure for their campaign, where he has like he pulls like a bunch of skeletons from like the bio lab, and he has a whole bunch of things that jump out, and they have to fight and actually do like a dungeon crawl, and he gets so into it, and we liked it so much, and then he gets even more obsessed with it and starts blurring the lines between his character and reality, which is what everyone was afraid of back then, and he goes crazy. And the climax of the movie, I'm going to spoil it. It's not. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm spoiling the movie on purpose. The climax of the movie is like I believe his character is a paladin, and so his deity is telling him to go on missions and stuff, and everyone's like, no, like, come hang out with us. Like, no, I have to go on a mission. Like I have this quest. And the climax of the movie is, for some reason, his god is telling him to jump off a bridge.
Yep.
And so the climax is, I'm about to kill myself. I can't say that. I'm about to unalive myself. And then like the girl like saves him and brings him back in, and the movie ends with him in an insane asylum. And his friends come to visit him every once in a while and play D&D with him to like placate his fantasy.
Is that like like trying to cut him, like wean him off rather than...
No. So he's full on crazy. There's no recovering, and they just show up like once a month and just role play with him for a bit. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So at the end, the message is that you can have a healthy relationship with role playing.
No,
anyway.
the message is D&D is bad.
Because in the end, his friends come and have a healthy relationship role playing with him anyway.
No, the end is the moral of the movie is D&D is satanic and it will destroy your life.
Looking at Wikipedia, Mazes and Monsters, the movie, is based on a book that did the same thing, which is wild.
Yep.
It is a wild ride.
Yeah, I don't know who would lose themselves that much in a character. I mean, maybe it could happen that back then, because there weren't so many ways of entertaining yourself. So you either had movies or you had your own imagination. So maybe you could lose yourself there, but I don't know. Sounds a little bit off, a little bit too much.
If all your friends' game tells you to, if all your friends' game tells you to jump off a bridge, would you? Yeah.
That's not showing up on YouTube, FYI.
It's not showing up.
Yeah.
Did Martina get shadow banned? Her other ones are all showing up. Yeah. Maybe there's a lag. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube. It might be
what you said. It just filters it out.
Yeah, it's because the content is saying to jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
I have everything unchecked. I don't censor any comments, and YouTube still censors live comments. It's weird.
Yeah. That happened to me sometimes.
If you haven't seen it already, we do have a poll running. We're gonna take next Sunday off. There will be no show, but I can't promise that all of the panelists would show up. But we have two choices. We can do the show on Saturday, or we can just take the week off and come back next Sunday. We would have 2 whole movies to talk about. And if we wait 2 weeks, then we'd have to also discuss 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. But
I think the last 2 episodes, right?
We're already there.
Is it the end?
I think they're only doing 8 episodes again, which is...
Yeah. But it's episode 5 this time, right? Or 6?
Was it 5 this week? I don't remember.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
It's
There's 3 more episodes.
Well, it looks like a lot of people are just saying take the week off, so we might do that. But yeah, Easter's great. Go visit your mom or something if you don't have kids. Go spend Easter with your mom.
This next week's Mandalorian is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's done a lot of the better ones.
The worst ones.
No, a lot of the better
ones. Her episodes are the worst ones.
No, I've liked her episodes.
They're terrible. She did that one, the ship one, that was just nonsense. Where they jetpacked up to the ship and they're like, we got to be stealthy, and then they just blow up the door and are not stealthy. It was ridiculous. I hated that episode so much. Yeah, but vote in the poll. Let us know if you want us to take a break. So we'll do news first, and then we'll do Mandos, and then we'll do. There's a lot of bad takes, boys. Okay. So did you guys? This one is different. There we go. April Fools sucks. Can I just say, when you're trying to curate articles for an internet show, and you see something like this, and you're like,
That's a good one.
it's
Oh,
not the.
no.
If you're going to do this, you have to somewhere in the article say April Fools.
Yeah. Oh, by the
Okay.
way, if you didn't realize, it's an April Fool's joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know you have a really pessimistic view of the industry. There's no way this was real. There's no way this was real.
Yeah. But still, this is not how you do April Fool's jokes. Okay. Like, this is literally just a fake article. And nowhere in the art, like, I can't, like, if you read it, like, you can kind of catch on. They said, like, Disney released a statement, said, "Oh, we were impressed with her work at Lucasfilms, and she guided a triumphant return of the Star Wars franchise." Like, yeah, you can see a little bit of the satire, but like, you gotta at least say it at the very end. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
Part
there
of
were
the
there were so many articles this week where I was like, I don't know if this is a joke or not.
I just would never trust anything published on April 1st.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would wait until April 2nd to see if there's anything else like clarified on it.
Well, because
Yeah.
I would read stuff like that, and I'd be like, I'm pretty sure that this is an April Fool's joke, and then I'd read stuff like this, and it's not an April Fool's joke, and so and these all happen in the same day. Yeah, that's a good, people like beer.
That's a funny headline, though.
Yeah.
Clever.
So I hate this.
Yeah, the most important part
Not how you
of
do
an
April
April
Fools.
Fool's joke is when you say, "Ha! April Fool's gotcha."
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. When
Yeah,
you
but
say,
sometimes you don't do
gotcha.
that until you really got them.
Yeah,
got
but if
it.
it's an article, there's no
Yeah, so you wait,
follow-up.
you wait until the next day and say, "Yeah, by the way, that was an April Fool's joke," because you gotta get them believing it.
Go back and edit the article, I guess.
Our
Yeah.
channel friend Master the TDS had an awesome April Fool's joke though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because like 2 weeks, I guess maybe like a month ago, or a while back, people were calling him a bad Jew, because they thought that he was tweeting on the Sabbath. Like every Friday night he goes, "Hey, I'm going off of Twitter. I'll be back Saturday evening," because he's a very faithful Jew. And someone, because they were in a different time zone, started criticizing him, like, "I can't believe you're tweeting on the Sabbath," and you're like, how stupid are you? And so for April Fool's, he set a bunch of tweets to go off and on a time delay,
Automatic, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
during the Sabbath, and people started freaking out.
That's pretty good, yeah.
It was hilarious.
That's fun.
Should have pulled up some of those. There were some. It's funny how people get angry about something that they don't believe in. Like, "Oh, I can't believe you knew that." When when people who don't believe in God criticize your Christianity. Yeah. Anyway, so in more news, Last of Us game, the PC release came out, and it's horrible. Everyone's returning it because the port is so bad.
Yeah.
They've had to release statements apologizing, and I'm glad I haven't bought it yet.
They did say they recently did a patch that's supposed to fix stuff, but that's why you never pre-order anything, folks.
Never pre-order anything.
Never pre-order anything.
Yeah,
They'll
I love
fix it
pre-ordering.
eventually. No,
You pre-order
although
and maybe
Jared,
the first-
I might
Jared.
make an exception for the new
Jared. Okay. Sorry.
Zelda
look,
game.
look here,
coming out.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
No.
If it
No.
sucks
Jared,
in the
you need
beginning,
some
then you give it
Jared,
some time.
you
to
need
get
some
back
real
into
talk right now. Okay. I want to. There's something that's been on my mind for a while. Jared, you are part of the problem. Okay, Jared, you pre-order Assassin's Creed games.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know it's all the
Jared.
same game. Okay,
Hey, it's Assassin's Creed. It's
you
the bad guy.
are the
Bro, come
problem,
on.
Jared. You have a problem.
I do have a problem.
Okay,
You do you, Jared.
I'll admit
Jared-
that I have
Jared,
a problem.
I've
But-
only played the
I-
numbered Assassin's Creeds, and that's enough for me.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You get bonuses for pre-ordering. You get little things that you could show off to people. Be
Yeah,
"Hey,
like a
but it's
poster
early."
or
Mhm.
I
And
get
then
one
if it sucks,
exclusive
if it sucks in the
skin.
first month, you're like, you know what? I'll take a month break. I'll come back, and it'll be fine.
I will say that
or you can wait till they're on sale and get it cheaper and not have to pay off the nose for some cosmetic skin.
and be
like
behind and not know what's going on. People spoiling
Yeah,
stuff for you.
exactly.
You know, you don't get these special feature things. You know, you don't
special
get a cool sticker.
Yep, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Now
No,
I would
I
never,
think-
I would never spend money on something like a collectible edition because that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's
Pre-ordering?
You've earned back a little bit of my respect. Just a little
no,
bit.
that's ridiculous.
But
I'm like,
Assassin's Creed games aren't multiplayer. What kind of like collectible would be worth pre-ordering for? If it's
Like I
just a
said,
solo game.
yeah, I definitely
Well,
do not. I mean, yeah,
I
I don't
would
need
take
to
a
have all
hoodie.
those merchandise things.
Mhm.
I don't need.
If they,
Some
if
of
they
those
had a
hoodies
hoodie,
they've
the Altair, what's the,
Altair.
oh yeah, Altair hoodie.
That's
I would
not the
take one of
kind of
those.
bonuses
That'd
that
be
you
cool.
get from pre-ordering, David. That's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff you
Yeah,
get in
that's
like
true.
a deluxe package.
Yeah, you're right. That would be in the deluxe.
And even then,
Pre-order
it's
package or
like
whatever.
asking too much.
Yeah. If you want to look
Yeah,
like a
and they're
weirdo,
way
you can go cosplay somewhere else. Okay.
I love that you had to stop the news. Just
I had to stop the news just to chastise you because you had Jared. And I say this out of love. You have a problem. This is an intervention.
Hey, Valhalla was really fun though. I really enjoyed playing Valhalla, and I liked the other ones like Odyssey and Origin. Those were great.
Mhm.
They were fun. I had a lot of
I
fun.
do think that the ones where you're pre-ordering in order to help them
Obviously.
like get it over and they like release a half a game, like I do get there's a lot of danger with that, especially with video games pre-ordering stuff.
especially with ports like this. That,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but
Although you
So,
would think with it being a port, the game's all there. Like it shouldn't. Like I know there's
It's a
work to be
different
done in
platform.
porting it,
It's-
but
yeah.
still, like
here's the thing, though. It's not a new game.
yeah,
If this was like they didn't have to rush this. They had
Yeah.
years of, hey, the TV show is coming out, and
Mhm.
this is an opportunity to sell the game more, and they failed.
yeah. Well, the it's not a new game, so it's not like there's a rush for it. They had plenty of warning for it. The content's all there. You're I don't know exactly the process for porting, and I'm sure there's a lot of work to be done with it. But it's also not on like the latest graphics or anything either. So I don't know why
yeah,
it shouldn't have been that hard. I would think, I don't know.
I think it
I-
backfired. It backfired. They thought that the show was going to bring more people into buying the game, and it backfired. People bought the game. Well, it kind of did, but people bought the game, and then they said, "Nah, the show is trash. We know where it's heading. I'm going to just return the game."
I will say on Assassin's Creed, I accept people are saying that the newer games are good, but I stopped playing with like 1 and 2 were like
Mhm.
some of my favorite games of all time,
2 is
and
pretty
then
fantastic.
Assassin's Creed 3 was so phenomenally bad.
Not only that, but you'd assume that 3 follows 2, but no, they had 2 games that weren't numbered in between though that follow the story directly. It's like, what the crap are you thinking?
Yeah.
Look,
that's
I'll
maybe poor
concede
decision
that they've
on
maybe have strayed from the original,
There you go.
Assassin's Creed lore a little bit. I get that. I totally get that. But they're still fun games, and I'm gonna play them.
Three
I hear
three
you.
was so
you.
bad. Like I literally stopped playing
Yeah.
games. I
Three,
was
yeah,
like,
3 was bad.
4,
I think
4
what
is
they did
really
was
good too,
ridiculous.
but
It
I
had-
was just so turned off from 3. I don't think I ever finished 4.
it had so many like not just like the story and the mechanics were buggy. Like it had game breaking bugs that made me like there were parts that I had to reload stuff because I literally couldn't finish the game.
Ooh,
It was horrible.
yeah.
Yeah, Mark Clark's accent. If we watch the movie was very disappointing.
It
It
It's
had
funny.
good things going for it.
you
but-
asked the
Hey,
question.
they're gonna try it again.
I know the answer to the question is yes. I know that I did see the movie, but I had to. I immediately knew the answer. I know I've seen the movie, but when you asked the question, I had to think about it because I don't remember anything about the movie
It
other than it was
was bad.
the main character was Michael Fassbender.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
And I remember the one shot of the Animus because they changed how the Animus looks in his
Exactly.
it's the weird
They actually gave him the-
Rise of Skywalker like crane
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, it was so weird.
So
I also
but that shot was
Physically
kind of
gave
cool
him
though, where he
the-
was like
the knives for
the
some
scene
reason.
where he like jumps with it. Like that was a pretty cool shot.
Having never played the games for it, although heard a little bit about the concepts and everything, and having not seen the movie, from what I've heard, one of the big problems was they spent way too much time not in the past time in the movie.
Yeah,
There
I
was
think I
way
wrote
too
that
much
as well.
time on other stuff because it's like that's just like we were talking about with D&D, with the movie D&D. Just make a fun adventure set in that ancient world, the
Yeah.
adventure, the assassin, and then have just a little bit of framing and a little bit of like that. That's what you do for something like that. That I can't believe they didn't focus on that.
Well, I think too, because I mean they're gonna do a Netflix series. I think is what they've said.
Yeah, but that
You
wasn't
know,
the
and so-
original plan. But yeah,
Well, yeah, but I think if they can actually pull that off, it might be nice just because they'll have hopefully they'll be able to elaborate more on the story, and it's not like because I think that was part of it too. They were like trying to do this adventure in 2 hours or an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
gotta be smart with the way you adapt those sorts of things. When you've got a big long story that you're trying to put into a 2-hour movie, it's tough, and you can do it some ways, but it's going to be a huge different thing.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
feel
they
the same way about
really-
that film than I do about the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time movie.
Oh no,
it was
I like
okay.
I
it
like
had
Prince
some
of
good
Persia
things
better
going for
than-
it.
I like the Prince of Persia movie
I,
way
I
better
do
than
agree.
Assassin's
The
Creed.
movie was better, but I was still in that same camp of it was okay. It had some good
kinda
moments in the
cheesy.
movie, but the video game was so much better. Like
Yeah.
Oh, Prince
Oh,
of
yeah.
Persia,
I
so
don't know what they
great.
were thinking
were
with some of
great.
the decisions they made.
It was
so
it was
perfect in the
mediocre, but
movie.
I
In
still
the
liked it because Jake
video game.
Gyllenhaal's performance was good,
Agreed.
and
Yeah,
the
the
chick is
Vizier is
incredibly hot.
Mhm.
The movie
Yeah.
was it was well cast. It was not well written, and I for the
Same.
life of
Agreed.
me, I do not know why you wouldn't put in the kiss scene at the end.
or
because
the
from
dagger.
Because he goes, it's so good.
Yeah,
Because it's you presume too much, Prince. And oops, I'm not gonna do that. It's such a good scene.
yeah.
I'll give another example. The Ender's Game movie. The movie itself
I just rewatched it.
Yeah. What did you think, especially rewatching it, having recently?
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Look,
That-
I
although-
didn't love it the first time, but
Mhm.
when we talked about it, I was
Mhm.
defending it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think those defenses still work.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredibly hard book to adapt.
It is.
But when I rewatched it, I realized this entire movie is a montage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a single scene where they slow down and just talk.
Because they've got too much, and that's so. In bringing this up, the reason that I brought it up was actually almost in defense of the Ender's Game movie to say,
Yeah.
what they did with that one, they took the story of the book and condensed it down into 2 hours, and they hit
They
the
condensed it.
important.
It needed
you
to
know-
be at least 3 hours.
Yeah, it needed.
That
to be
would have
three-
fixed a lot of the problems.
What it needed to be was a trilogy of movies,
Yeah.
and the problem is. So yes, I get that. I 100%
Maybe
get
two.
it,
Maybe,
especially-
I think three's
No,
too much.
but
Two would have
here,
worked.
I agree. Yeah,
Let me take a second to break this down because it's actually awesome. It fits perfectly. The structure of it works perfectly.
You've thought about this a
the-
lot.
Oh yes, I have. The other reason why I get why it would have been really tricky for them to do
So
that is because
let me guess.
Uh,
The first movie ends with him receiving Dragon Army. Like
No.
no?
No. So
Like, we
it breaks
bestow
up
upon
really
you
nicely into
Dragon
three. Yes.
Army. I've graduated, and that's the end of the first movie. Where do you end the first movie?
So you end the first movie. You do the first movie, him on Earth and his launchy days. Then you have that nice arc.
He
of
doesn't
him
even get to space.
No, he
in the-
gets to space.
Okay.
No, as a launchy, he's a
Okay.
launchy. So you have that whole dynamic of him and the launchy group, and Graf setting him up to just be the enemy of the entire group and dealing with Bernard. And
Okay, but what's the finale though? You have to have an
Goliath-
exciting
so
finale.
he
Or no
finally
one's going to go see the
overcomes-
second movie.
He finally overcomes everything, all these difficulties and struggles that he's been going through, and bam, he's slapped into Salamander Army, and he's back down at the bottom of the totem pole. So you have a nice arc of the he's overcome, and he's setting up his launchy group that are practicing in the battle room. You could even have one of the climaxes being oh no, that's not until he gets to Salamander Army.
I feel like there's not a good climax.
Yeah.
It breaks up nicely because you have it going, him overcoming the problems in the launching group, and then you have the second movie being his time in the armies, going through Salamander and Rat, and then taking over Dragon, and all of the crap that they put him through in Dragon.
That works as a TV show. That works as a TV show. That doesn't work as 3 movies. No one's going to go see the second movie if the finale of the first movie is I got to Salamander Army.
Right.
I think
I
it
agree.
could work as 2. I think it could work as 2 if you cut it in half. Let's see. My ending wouldn't work because I was assuming that was 3. You got to split it between Command School and Battle School.
See, and that's where I put the split between movie 2 and movie 3 is you have him take over Dragon Army, do all of the great stuff that he's doing, and finally just tossing out the rules and saying screw you guys, and then you could even I don't know, you'd have to massage the story a little bit. I don't know whether you'd put his time on Earth with Val at the beginning of the third movie or at the end of the second one, but you have in each of them you have him overcome a struggle and then be presented with a brand new struggle. So you have overcoming the struggle of the launchies, overcoming the struggle in the armies, and then you have him overcoming the struggle with the actual battles.
If you no, 3 movies just doesn't work.
So,
your argument's bad. 2 movies
works
perfectly.
The other big problem with doing 3 movies is because it was right about that same time that the Hobbit movies were coming out, and they broke the Hobbit up into 3 movies, and it didn't need to be broken up into 3 movies. So everyone was saying, why are we taking one book into 3 movies? Let's not do that. I think it would have worked for Ender's Game, but it didn't work for Hobbit, and so it would have looked bad, and I don't think anybody would have gone
I think
for
it would make an excellent TV show because then you could really take your time and you could have
Yeah.
a bunch of mini climaxes. But for a movie, I don't see 3 working. I do see 2 working because you could have his victories in Command School as a climax, and you could take what's the bully's name?
Bernard, or are you talking about
The leader of Dragon Army. Is it Bernard?
He's the leader of Dragon Army. You're talking about Salamander Army.
Salamander,
Bonito,
sorry.
Bonzo.
Bonzo. You take the battle school victories as the climax of the first film, and you move the Bonzo fight back to the ending of the movie. So you end with victory on the field and then fight in the locker room and consequences. And I've had this huge triumph, and also I just killed a guy.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great climax to a movie. I still think you can pull out a climax to a first movie that fits in with the launchy days. But yeah.
But
anyway,
but enough to fill theaters though,
I think so.
To get people to come back.
If you set it up really well, I think you can get and really spark people's imagination. You might end up doing something where you put the launchies in the battle room a little bit more. So some of the struggles that he has within the armies, where he has the bigger kids coming and trying to beat him up when he's in Salamander Army and is starting his own practice group.
Yeah.
You could probably move that somehow into the launchy days to have that be kind of what he's overcoming, as he's got a lot of people that are coming in. You get the fight in the battle room as part of that climax, something along those lines, where you have him going from being undercut to being the underdog, the just in the worst position ever, to basically being at the tip top of this group. And it's like, hey, you made it. and yeah, we're pushing you on into now. You're back at the bottom of this new bigger pond.
Yeah.
And again, you could even leave it on the climax and then start the next movie with the cool. You're at the top of your game. By the way, now you're at the bottom of the totem pole again. However you need to break that up. I really think that there's enough story. It would give you plenty of time to explore it if you have a shorter movie with that first one, and just really give a chance to explore the world. You maybe get some extra work on the buggers and show a little bit of scenes of the two attacks and stuff like that.
I just know a Hollywood executive would come in and be like, sorry, your movie doesn't. You need and then they start adding stuff. Oh, you need to have Bean fight with a physically one-on-one with a bugger in person, and that'll be the climax of the first movie.
Yeah. That's what I ended up hating so much about the movie is just there was no reason for them to have any buggers there, and the buggers shouldn't have been on Eros, and they should have just sent him off to the cop. Like it, that's where I finally broke.
It needed to, at minimum, be at least 3 hours. And I was watching the movie and it ended. I was like, that was freaking quick.
Yeah. So
why was it so fast?
I watched it with a friend of mine who did not know the books, and he was like, it kind of felt slow to him, but it was because for him, he didn't know what all was coming, and so he didn't get a chance to get invested in anything. So
I could, even though it's fast paced, it's slow because when the entire movie is a montage and you're just seeing glimpses, you can't attach to anything.
Yep. So people who didn't know what's going on
fast,
don't
it's going
attach
to be
to
slow
anything.
for the audience because it's boring.
Yeah. So that was the problem with it. Is it was moving so fast that nobody who didn't know anything about the movie could get attached, and then everybody who was attached was like,
right.
But you spent like 3 seconds on that, and you spent 2 seconds on that. What? You're just blowing past this thing. It needed way more time than it had.
Absolutely. It was wild rewatching it. I was like,
I think another reason why
this is worse than I remember.
Yeah. I think another reason why I lean towards saying, hey, they should have done a trilogy is because in Hollywood, in general, trilogies are an appealing concept for books and movies and things like that.
Sure.
So if you put in the investment to make that first movie something interesting enough to get people going, I think you could break it up in that way.
Counterpoint, Romancing the Stone and The Jewel of the Nile. Just 2 movies.
I haven't watched them, but yeah.
Dude, watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good.
Well, here's
especially Romancing the Stone. Jewel of the Nile was all right.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
So here's the thing though with putting it in a trilogy is that like you mentioned Bearded that you'd probably have a shorter film for one of them, and I think that's hard because then you're talking like TV shows, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that if you were to break it up into 3, then you have 1 or 2 that are shorter, then you have to start adding filler, right? And
that's why the answer is it should be a TV show.
Yeah, but so that's I think where you get tricky is because then you're like, okay, now we have to add filler, but then you start messing with the story. And
but there's plenty of ways you could add an episodal climax because there are so many battles at Battle School. You could just the climax of this episode's going to be another battle, but it's harder this time.
Yeah, I was
and then the climax of this one is another battle, but it's the ones where everybody's frozen and he puts their hats in to the door.
Yeah,
and that's a good battle. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Should be the climax of that second movie. Would be just like that battle where he's just like screw it, throw out the rules. We're just gonna go through the gate. We're not gonna wait.
I was waiting for that moment in the movie, and it ended up and I was like, oh man, that is disappointing.
it is tough. I will give them this. It is tough to try to present.
They changed the rules. They changed the rules of the battle game. That you just have to go into the exit. No, that's not the rules. You have to have 4 surviving players to put their hats into the holes and enter the enemy base.
And again,
you can't just win. You can't just win by only having 1 lone survivor because that doesn't count as a victory because you have to have people to command if you want to win.
That's a part of the twist in the book is
it's such a good twist. It's such a good twist.
we're going to change. I'm going to throw out this expected rule. It's not.
And they
it's an
changed the
unspoken
rules,
rule,
Jared!
and then they changed it in the
Changed
thing
the
instead.
rules in
Yeah.
the
No.
movie.
Yep.
There wasn't a twist.
I will also give you
a twist with
it
the
is tough.
with the rule change. They told you what the twist was going to be. They said
it is,
all you had to do is get
Just
someone
go
through the
gate.
door. I wonder what the twist is going to be.
Yep. I will also give them.
Upset.
It's a tough thing to try to present tactics on screen visually.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is him showing.
It's an incredibly hard to adapt thing.
So and that's another spot where it's like, again, because this is adaptation, I can recognize that was a situation where, you know what, you needed to do an adaptation because that allowed them to set up the way that he mirrored this to what he does with the buggers in the end, where it's like, do a confusing thing that gets something through, and do a confusing thing that gets something through in an unexpected way. So the adaptation, I think it was solid for what it was, for how it decided to adapt it. It just was, there wasn't enough time to attach to the story and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and therefore you start looking at these other
I
things.
regret defending the movie previously. I legitimately, I was like, this is bad. I'm embarrassed that I said it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. You should be. You should be embarrassed.
The point of the story was The Last of Us PC port is bad.
I was going to say, I think this was a really big side.
That was an hour-long tangent.
Yeah, that was the biggest tangent we've ever had on the show. We have a lot of tangents.
20 minutes of tangent. You're welcome. That's me.
I'm tired. I'm normally asleep right now. Okay. Yeah. So that was that. My reading. I will talk about books after news. We already talked about books. But we got to finish the news, and then I can tell you about my books. But it's really cool that you're reading my friend's book. You'll have to tell me if it's good or not, because I still have only read the first chapter. I am really bad at reading physical books. I like audiobooks. I don't have time to read real books. Not when I have kids. It's tough, so I need to find time. And then the only time I have, I'm like, well, I feel like I should be making YouTube videos, not reading. That's why I like audiobooks, because I can do it when I'm changing diapers and making dinner and doing dishes. Audiobooks are great. Buy audiobooks. And Brandon Sanderson has a new one this week that I'm excited for. So I'm going to read the book eventually. Tell me if it's good. Here, news. Incredible season 2 and 3 release gap will be shorter, assures the creator, because the release gap between season 1 and 2 has been quite long because they weren't sure. They didn't know if they were going to get a season 2, but season 1 was so good. They're like, okay, it's greenlit. You're good to go for 2 and 3. So great news, because Incredible Invincible is a great show. Yeah. Can't wait for season 2. I believe they said third quarter.
Okay.
I remember reading it. I think they said third quarter. Or by the end of the second quarter. Something like that.
Okay, cool. This year?
To a certain age, you can drop the kids off at the fire station. Yes, my wife would not appreciate that.
I was going to make a similar joke of, well, then just make it so you don't have kids now.
Good news. Super excited for Incredible season 2. Fantastic show.
Invincible.
You said Incredible.
I'm super excited for Invincible. See, I'm exhausted today. Okay, I'm really trying to keep the show under 3 hours.
He is exhausted for Invincible season.
And there's only one
that
show we have to talk about today.
We've already gone for an hour. Okay, and there's all we have to discuss is one episode of The Mandalorian. So, Jared, shut up. Let me get through the news.
Bearded. Let's make sure we clarify.
Dark Jared.
No, I'll let you throw it down at Jared. That's a good point, though. Let me go.
Invincible season. I'm super excited for Invincible season 2. Season 1 was fantastic. They kind of ruined April, but the show's overall good. They really. I hate that he's still in a relationship with her. They ruined her character.
Let's not get into a tangent again.
They ruined her character and made her stay around longer. And I'm like,
I agree. Let's talk about it when season 2 gets here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler is developing a new X-Files series with a diverse cast.
Sure, whatever.
Color me whelmed. I feel like we've driven this to the dirt.
Yep.
You do you. The Creed guy. He's making the Rocky movies that don't have Rocky. The Rocky movies that aren't about Rocky.
Yep.
He's gonna do the X-Files movies that aren't about the X-Files or the X-Men. Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Is announced.
This is
He's
so
going to
good.
be voicing Mickey Mouse in Disney's live action adaptation. This is how you do April Fool's jokes, boys.
There's no April Fools in there. It doesn't say April Fools.
It was on April, but this is not a fake news article. It's an announcement on April 1st, and it's freaking hilarious. I'm glad that Chris Pratt can make fun of himself because I like this man.
All the slack he got for voicing Super Mario.
Yeah.
Which the more and more that I've seen from the trailers, I'm actually thinking
I kind of like his voice in it. It kind of works.
It's kind of a toned down Mario, you know. He's
I don't know,
but it's not like super.
I don't know if I'd be able to stand an entire 2-hour movie of woohoo, let's go.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Exactly. It's toned down.
I get it.
More realistic.
If you're gonna do a movie, you don't want him doing yahoos the whole time.
Exactly. Anybody that's played Mario and just
it's a me
jump all the time. It's like, okay, that's enough of that.
Have you guys seen the Mario Brothers TV show? It gets old real fast.
Yep.
And they do the accent the whole time. Okay, it's not good. Do the Mario swing your arms from side to side. Go on ahead, you're doing the Mario. Take one step and then again. Come on, let's do something all together now. It's horrible. It's really bad.
It's so bad. Although it's more entertaining than the Zelda.
The theme song is literally sung off beat. It's incredibly hard to get right.
It's so bad.
Go on ahead, we're doing the Mario. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I am not totally convinced with his voice, his effects. I don't know the things he says. You know, like woohoo. He kind of tries to do the Mario thing, but I don't think he pulls it off. I wish that he just did regular voice. You know, his regular voice a little bit. You know,
we'll see.
Higher pitch. You know, but yeah, let's see how he managed a full movie, because he can get pretty tiring, you know, whole full hour and a half.
I think it looks good. I think it was a good choice to not just do a
just the high pitch,
regular voice. Also, Jack Black as Bowser is an inspired move.
Agreed.
So Deadpool 3 is gonna suck.
There was a second where I thought that this was an April Fool's joke, but then I saw it was posted on April 2nd and I got sad.
Yeah, no, it's not a joke. Zeb Wells, the writer for She-Hulk and the Marvels, writing Deadpool 3.
Oh, fun.
So
it's just adding them to the writing team. So
everything Disney touches turns to gold. Disney is like the reverse Rumpelstiltskin. They take gold and
the reverse hand of Midas.
They take gold and spin it into poop rather than taking straw and turning it into gold.
Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin. Someone spell that backwards and tell me if it's a cool name. Probably not. I had another story, but then the original tweet got deleted. So that's what that other tab was for, because I think it was fake news. So it was funny. We won't get into it. We don't have time. But books. I barely did any reading this week. So my out of order reading, I haven't read any more Discworld. The last one I read was Equal Rights. But I finished I finished Gunmetal Gods. And I finished it this morning at 3:00 in the morning because I woke up at 12:30. Wow. Gunmetal Gods. It's good. It's a good book. You know how I said that reading Xenocide, Orson Scott Card had written the most disturbing thing I'd ever read in a book? That's no longer the case. This book is freaky. It's freaky leaky in some really cool ways. I didn't know a whole lot about this book going in. I only knew that it was Indian inspired fantasy. And so I wasn't expecting. The first half starts off like, oh, this is a fantasy book and it's Indian inspired. There's Indian cultures. They're smoking hookahs. They're smoking some cherry flavored hashish. and it's really cool world building. And then there's another element in this book that I really want to talk about, but I also don't want to spoil because reading this book, not knowing this, was so shocking and so cool. But it's not like a huge spoiler because like if you go away if you don't want any spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but I will tell you it's also an eldritch horror book.
Oh, nice.
And I did not know that. And it is so disturbing and wonderful. The end, I had no idea where this book is going. I still don't know where it's going. There's 2 more books. I've never been in the position where I have no idea what's happening. It's so unique. It's super, super unique. It's an incredible journey. The ending was nuts. And it literally happens like halfway through the book. Like, so the first half I was like, oh, this is standard fantasy. And then a very disturbing thing happens. It's a little bit sexual. And it's not pleasant at all. And it really threw me for a loop. And then the rest of the book just gets crazier and crazier. And like the whole book, they're talking about angels, right? Like there's a whole religion that worships these angels. And you're like, okay, and you're picturing an angel. And then like you slowly get more and more details. And you're like, those aren't angels. Those are freaking eldritch horrors. It's like, and they have like and they have tentacles and weird like insectoid wings, and you're like, that's not an angel, guys. So it was super awesome to just slowly read this book and then discover they're not talking about angels, like, but that's just the only word that they have, because it's and eldritch horror is tricky because by definition it is indescribable, right? The whole an eldritch monster
Cosmic
is
horror,
if you witness it, you go crazy because it's something that your brain can't comprehend. And the way that he's able to write about these things that are incomprehensible, it's the writing is incredible. because he uses like metaphors like that, like the people that have seen the angel, like they just call them angels because there's no other way to describe them. It's this otherworldly thing. So there's just so many small details in this book that the slow burn was just phenomenal. Of like, that's not what I thought this was, and I feel stupid because the cover of the book
I'm looking
is like
at it right
a
now.
Cthulhu thing. But I thought it was like a metaphor, okay? There's lots of fantasy books that have dragons on the covers that don't have dragons in the books, okay? I thought it was like a spirit. I thought it was a metaphor. I didn't know that it was actual eldritch horror. And it's good. It's really good. Yeah. There's a little bit of inappropriate sexuality. If you get turned off by mature content, it's very small part of the book. It's a little bit descriptive. I wouldn't call it pornographic, but it's uncomfortable. If that makes you uncomfortable. Super good book. It was it was a good book. I liked Gunmetal Gods. So
Sounds interesting.
really cool.
Yeah. I really like cosmic horror and Lovecraftian mythology stuff. So
this is that.
So there was a split second where I thought that you were unintentionally following Mark Clark's example, because I'm just looking it up now and I'm like, there's a book before Gunmetal Gods, but it's a prequel. It's a pretty cool. Yeah,
it's like a really small novella.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and the book 3 just came out, or I think it comes out this month. It comes out very soon. Oh, and the author talked to me on Twitter. He's a cool guy. It was he just responded to one of my tweets. That was it. It wasn't like a conversation. I told him that I was reading his book and I really liked it, and he's like, "That's awesome." He's a cool guy. Almost as cool as when Kate Redding liked my tweet. Highlight of my life. And I've had 3 kids, so. Yes, I'm following you. Lead with Discworld, Mike. Suck it. I'm normal in any other aspect. It's episodic. You're supposed to be able to jump in anywhere. Okay, let's talk about the
why I was saying
Mandalorian.
this situation was an unintentional one. Because, yeah. But Mandalorian.
Oh no, you weren't even there for the discussion. I did mess up. I messed up when I read the Drizzt. I read book 4 because it says book 1 on Audible. Okay, but book 1 is not Homeland. It's the Icewind Dale trilogy. The Icewind Dale trilogy was written first, and then he wrote a prequel trilogy which starts with Homeland. But on Audible, it's labeled number 1 because it takes place first chronologically.
And it's the first of that trilogy.
But after I read it, I did some digging online because I was like, oh, I want to read some more Drizzt books. I want to finish this trilogy, and then I'll pick out, because I don't have time to read all of them. I've got a lot, way too, and so I was like, I want to finish this trilogy that I started, and then I'm going to pick out the highest rated one. And everyone said, you got Icewind Dale. Read Icewind Dale first. And I was like, and I did some more research. Oh, it was published first. And then people were like, yeah, you shouldn't read the prequel series because even though it takes place first chronologically, it actually spoils stuff. I'm like, no, Mark!
No.
I literally used your name as a swear word.
Clark.
Mark Clark! He got me! Son of a gun!
Mark Clark. Son of a Mark.
Nice.
Clark.
So thanks for that, Mark. Thanks for that. Let's talk about the Mandalorian.
Another fine episode.
This was probably the
Next
least
one.
bad episode. I
Come
still
on, bro.
hated it.
You can't even say the best episode this season. It's the least worst episode.
Sure.
Yeah,
Because I don't think
can understand that logic.
Here's the thing. It's because I don't think it's good.
Mhm.
It is the best episode of this season. It's still not good.
Mhm.
It was definitely the most volumetric episode of we obviously shot this on the volume ever.
I think the last one. I think the last one hit that.
It
one
was
pretty
like,
hard, too.
hey, we're going to this big city. There's gonna be a big fight. Oh, it turns out there's only 15 people in the entire city.
Yeah.
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 And then
It's
he's like
interesting.
standing up on the rock, and he's like, "People of whatever."
He's
Navarro."
giving
Navarro.
huge
Navarro.
There's
Yeah.
10 people in front of him. He doesn't need to be yelling.
Well,
Yeah,
so the
was
part
pretty
that makes
pathetic.
that even worse is because they did do a good job up until that point of showing different places in the city and like making the city look expansive, and like there were lots of people there. But then you get out and he's got 10 people with him. Yeah.
I don't see, and I don't even think that this is the best episode. I think episode 2 was the best episode because, and solely for the spaceship fight scene, even though it had zero stakes. Just
No,
the
that was-
one
I think that was
space,
3.
That was 3. Yeah.
It was episode 2 or 3. It wasn't the one in space. It was the one on the planet.
On the
Yeah,
planet
that was
where
That
they blow up
it
the
was a
castle.
good.
was 3.
That was a.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing from this entire season that I enjoyed.
Hey,
And
I agree with
And
you.
it was
Episode 3
complete,
was
and it
the
was
best episode this season.
completely disconnected from everything else, and it had no stakes.
Yeah. Well, I quite liked this episode. I think you're right about that. It was very jarring to see that there were like 10, 15 people in this entire city that escaped.
And even
which
in the
is
shootouts,
ridiculous. And yeah, in the shootouts.
in the
too. But-
shootouts,
They
it's
showed a
shaky
variety
cam.
of locations.
It's shaky cam, and it
Yeah.
was literally like an old western where they couldn't show any action, so they just filmed one side going pew pew pew, and then they filmed the other side going pew pew oh, and then they
Yeah.
filmed the other side going pew pew, and literally there's no choreography. It's literally just showing people shoot guns. All it is it's the scene from the first Suicide Squad movie where the guy who's banned from the Oscars now, Will Smith, jumps up on the car and does a shooty, and you have no idea what he's shooting at. You're like, okay, this looks
right.
cool and it's in slow-mo, and I don't care.
Yeah, and I felt some of that as well too. I think as the fight with the Mandalorians started, I was like, oh, they're actually using their jetpacks. They remember that they use their jetpack.
And then they don't.
but
they
then they
never
just, like,
use them
they
ever
use their
for anything
jetpacks to
useful.
get to a place on the ground, and then they just shoot from there.
David,
It was
there's a
very-
line.
I agree.
There's 2 Mandalorians, and they say, "We're pinned. We're surrounded." And rather than
Yeah,
using their jetpacks and jumping to the roof, a third Mandalorian uses
that,
his
yeah.
jetpack
and immediately gets
to
gunned down.
come to their location,
Yeah,
drop in front of them where they had just said they were pinned and surrounded. It makes no sense.
yeah.
See, them not jumping up makes
If
sense
you
because
want
that takes them
to
out of their
use-
cover. But
I would have. Don't give them all jetpacks. Okay.
Right.
Th-
Yes, exactly.
Problem solved. Jetpacks
Exactly.
are expensive, and only a handful of Mandalorians have them.
And apparently
Because
they
you
run
are
out of
not-
fuel pretty quick.
Because
too.
you don't know how to use them. Take them away.
you
It
even
makes more
presented
sense.
yourself. You even presented yourself with a good excuse early on because Din doesn't start out with the jetpack, and she's like,
Right.
"Oh, do you know how to use this?" And he's like, "Oh, I took the training, but I just don't like."
But yeah,
it's
now
already
all
been
of them have
presented like
jetpacks.
The
They're not common,
Mandalorians
yeah.
are all retarded
Mm.
and completely incompetent.
Again, this.
Yeah, I
this
thought
had
they
a
were
lot of
more
fun in.
competent
I
in
thought it was
this
fun.
one.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, it was annoying that while they did make use of their jetpacks a little bit, it was just to get to a position on the ground and then forget
Mhm.
about a jetpack.
Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I liked the fight out, the shootout. I thought.
Yeah.
I agree that the shots were just reverse shot. A lot of the times you didn't have anything in
Mhm.
there creatively,
I don't
but
necessarily
I thought it
mind
was
that, but
yeah,
I can see that.
it works sometimes. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's a
And
standard
a
for
little bit
reason,
to the
but-
point, you said it was like one of those old westerns or whatever. They do a lot to try to pay homage to those, and so it could have been an intentional
I
thing.
wasn't talking
Even though I
about the
agree with
good
you that you may
westerns,
not
dude.
liked it, yeah.
yeah, but
I was
that
talking
being
about the
said,
cheap ones that don't have any
think-
money, so they just show people shooting from behind a rock and ducking up and down
yeah.
for 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So I also think that this episode had some of the best CGI and some of the absolute worst CGI of the show in the same episode.
You don't say.
I really hate the design of that stupid algae
Algae from the Black
pirate.
Lagoon.
It's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really
so
bad.
And even the shots where they have the hologram of him, his lips don't even match up to what he's saying.
Yeah.
It was
There was one time where it was
mind-bogglingly bad.
awful.
It was
the rest
so-
of them they
like,
were
he was-
close, but there was one where it was so off.
Yeah, like he was making noise and he was shutting his mouth at the same time he was speaking
Mhm.
something. I'm like, this is really bad.
Yeah.
But then you get to that scene with what I presume was Zeb. He's the
yeah.
the
It is
Lasat
it's in the
creature.
credits.
And that
Zeb.
CGI was so
It was very good.
flipping good. Like, oh
What?
my gosh.
The creature that talks to the Republic,
can
New
you-
Republic
It's just
pilot.
a very quick cameo. The
Oh,
New Republic guy.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
great.
He looks
Yeah, he looked
really
great,
good. And,
yeah.
and
I
it's
think it was
probably
practical
because they
effect.
already have it's
They
CGI.
had
It's
CGI
Oh,
with
because-
it,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It wasn't the fish guy. Right. That
No,
was-
not the
that-
fish
okay.
guy. He's kind of like a
The fish guy
werewolf,
last
purple werewolf
2
looking
episodes
guy, I
was a
guess.
good example of
But-
practical effects, which have been awful. The prosthetics have been awful. But you're right. There was the weird the weird shaped head. Blue
Yes.
guy, right? He's blue.
He's
Purple.
purple.
Something purple. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
he's
He's got a
from
blue
That
flight
was
suit
really
on, I
good.
think.
That was really
he's
well
from
done.
Star
Yeah.
Wars Rebels, so it's another
Yes.
tie-in leading up to
Mhm.
Ahsoka, I'm presuming. But the CGI on him looked so flipping
did
good,
look really,
and I
really
was just
good.
blown away.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's
I will
gonna
say,
suck on my
I haven't been
balls.
bothered. I haven't been bothered by the practical, by the suits and the masks and things like that very much. This episode, I got a couple of them where I'm like, ooh, I don't necessarily like that one with the
Dude,
with the practical
I used to
effects
watch.
that they had on
I
them.
used to watch
but-
Face Off religiously.
Oh, that was a cool show.
That is a great show.
That
The
is a good
prosthetics
show.
are garbage in the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can do so much better.
I agree, especially on that space pirate. That
I
was
want to
just-
go. I better go
well
watch some Face Off.
Yeah.
It's such a cool show, man.
I have one more
And the drama.
one
Sorry.
more thing to mention of this show that I thought was done very, very well. When the show first started, I was afraid we were going to get another entire episode of just other side characters, because we went back to that other whatever her face lady was that was mind wiped Dr. Pershing or whatever.
No.
But
Why?
but it's just to have another tie-in to tie things together.
Why
But
does Grief
ties it all
Karga
together.
call this guy instead of the Mandalorian? He already knows that the Republic isn't going to help, and rather than just calling Din Djarin because they're tight,
yeah,
which is who ends up coming anyway.
yeah.
Mhm.
They have to rope in this other side plot. The episode started, and I was like, "Oh no, it's another episode 3."
That's
I was like,
what I was
"This is
worried
going to
about
be
when it
a
started,
whole
yeah.
nother."
See, that's
this-
why I was
this is
excited.
just set-
But luckily, it didn't.
Next
It
show,
didn't
like,
do
we
it.
already
Like I
got-
said, I liked episode 3. It was good at what they did, but it was
Or
too much
whatever.
no Mandalorian in a Mandalorian
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
It felt more akin to something that would be in Andor, even though it's the wrong time period. But
Mhm.
but after that, I was prepared to be miffed, because the New Republic guy immediately flies.
He's the replacement
planet.
for Cara Dune.
He's
replacing
100%
her
the
role
replacement
in
for
the
Cara Dune. Yeah.
I think that
But-
he was actually going to be involved with her New Republic show.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic
But
show.
my point is, I was
yeah.
I was about to get really upset that he flew directly to where the Mandalorians were. I'm like,
Yeah, that was
what
like-
the hell? Like, suddenly everybody knows where the Mandalorians are,
Yeah.
and they fixed it. They addressed it. They thought
addressed it.
ahead with
They had
the
R5.
line about R5 being there, and that was set up in a previous episode when he got
Okay,
R5, and he said,
the
"Oh yeah, he
problem
served
is-
in the
the
rebellion."
Yeah.
problem is
It was
the
perfect.
problem, David. The problem is this show is so bad. and so boring. I have no idea where that droid came from.
No,
I
he
don't
was in
remember
in
them
episode 2.
obtaining that droid
he was the
because
one
the show
in the,
is so boring.
You're right. In the bad
When he said-
episode where
and
he
he
goes
said,
back and
"Oh,
get IG-11,
I
but
thought
then
he
doesn't
was-
get IG-11, he gets R5 instead. And she
When-
mentions in there, oh, he served in the rebellion, and then it comes
From the
back
annoying
later.
lady on Tatooine.
How many
Lady?
times, bro, how many times do we watch a show and we say this
Yeah,
plot
no,
point didn't
it's
make
set up,
any
yes.
sense? Absolutely. And they could have fixed it with one line.
Yes,
That
I
was the
agree.
one line. They thought
agree.
ahead, they did it. And when I watched it, I'm like, oh, okay. I was
And
about
it-
to be really mad that he found the Mandalorians that quickly. And
But
they
the problem
fixed it.
was-
they thought ahead and they did it.
I legitimately didn't remember that happening earlier because
That's
the
because
show
you're a
is
hater, bro.
so
And
boring.
whenever that mechanic character comes on the screen, you're just filled with so much
they-
rage because
they-
you hate
yeah.
her so
They
much.
panned
that you
over to
tune
the
out everything
droid,
else.
and I was like, who? I was like, I don't remember
Alan,
any
Alan.
of this happening.
Alan, it's the droid from A New Hope that
It is.
they tried to buy
Yeah.
instead. That's what you need to focus on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's also the
droid
same
with the
droid
bad
that
motivator.
he almost bought, and then he bought R2D2 instead.
Yeah,
Same one.
So it almost makes me it makes me like, all right, fine. I get then why they decided to have him have R5 from episode 2, even though again I'm still mad about the fact that doesn't make any sense to just undo his ship to make R5 fit into it.
Yeah,
And
that
now
was dumb.
Grogu doesn't have his own seat, and that
Yeah.
freaking BD unit would have been the best choice
or
of all. Completely
Yeah.
find some other reason to shove your R5 unit in there.
or why this character was even in the plot at all, rather than just having Grief Karga call Din Djarin and say, "Hey, come help us. I need some bounty hunters."
I'm fine with that. I actually
or the
really like
fact
this character.
that this city used to be like the equivalent of Mos Eisley, like just a
Trading hub,
cesspool of
And-
villain of
Scum and villainy.
scum and villainry, full of bounty hunt. It was literally a city of bounty hunters.
Yep.
Because the entire city attacks the Mandalorian in season 1, right?
Yep.
And now it solely consists of women and children and 0 planetary defenses. And it's not even like they had to defend against an armada. It's one pirate ship. And
Yeah.
Grief Karga doesn't have the capability to defend against one pirate ship. It's asinine.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
This is a show for babies. And if you enjoy it,
Wah.
you are a baby.
I'm
back-
only hearing whining coming from one of
go
these windows here.
breastfeed or something.
Good point, Bearded. I enjoyed this episode. It
I
had
will
some
also say
issues. I hate
one
the
other
pirate.
thing-
The rest of it was amazing.
I think that the pirate's ship
Better.
looked really cool.
Oh, the pirate
Um,
ship was amazing. I loved
Yeah,
that.
that was a really
And
cool
I
looking
and I
ship.
love the dog fighting in this episode
Also,
too. That was great.
the pirates are supposed to be super dangerous, and the pirates are incompetent
Bumbling.
because in
I'm fine with
all of
bumbling
their
pirates.
combat experience, they couldn't possibly be prepared for a scenario where the enemy has
2 ships.
two ships. What the hell?
Yeah, I will say the one other thing that kind of I'm tilting
how
my head
can
out a
you
little.
like this, David? Sorry, go on.
It was
You
fun.
had
I liked the action.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm with you, David. The one other thing that I kind of like, I'm scratching my head out a little bit, is in the end they say, okay, so Bo-Katan, you're going to be the one to unite the Mandalorians because you've seen the Mythosaur and everything. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
means you get to take off your helmet.
She doesn't have. She can just take her. She doesn't have to follow the creed because.
Because
And
Yeah,
that's
that-
my
What? So
main.
why is it a rule? Like I don't understand. It's
I
so
know.
dumb
See,
that they
I-
can't even be consistent with it. If you like just
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense.
I was confused at that, and then I was like, oh, she takes it off because she's the one that's going to be able to go to the other Mandalorians that have taken their
Like, already
helmets
don't.
and, like,
Yeah.
See, but
and she
that's-
can chill within like the normal people because she's
Mhm.
not going to feel like a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
No,
Why
but-
is it important for them to like just
That's how they
They
present it,
can't
Jared. You're right.
explain it
And I
because
think
there
that's where
is
they're
no
going
answer.
for. But
There's no
it's just,
answer that they could possibly give that would not sound bat crap crazy. So they don't know what the answer is. They just thought it would be. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if they could never remove their helmets
Well, she
and
is
never
also
thought
one of the
about
more
any of the
recognizable
consequences? Well,
stars.
how do they eat? How do they procreate? How do they piss? They don't know the answer.
You do know that, like, with a helmet on, you're still able to urinate. Like, there's other things that you said. How do they
How
piss?
would they be able to see? They're down there.
You got vision things, and there's a vertical one too.
Like, what happens? Like, God forbid you're eating a sandwich and someone accidentally sees you. Like, that
you gotta kill him?
Has that
just gotta kill him.
seriously never happened? Ever?
Yeah. And that's part of the contention between the.
They just say,
the
well,
different
when we eat, we go and we turn away from each. We all
play hide and seek.
We spin around in our seats, so we're all looking away from each other when we eat our sandwiches.
We did have a scene in one of the last seasons. We did have a scene in one of the last seasons where it looked like Mando had, like, he could kind of, like, lift a little bit of something where it wasn't taking his. But then they never come back to that, which was
well,
weird.
no, there's one in season one when he fights the AT-AT. He completely takes it off when he's alone and eats the soup.
And in season 2, there's another scene though where he's doing something where he just, like, lifts it under his helmet,
I agree. It's silly, and that's why not all Mandalorian creeds or not all Mandalorian sects follow that. My concern going forward, because I think it makes sense for Bo-Katan to do that, but my concern going forward is that they're taking this away from Din Djarin, and this is going to be Bo-Katan's show, because Bo-Katan, if you guys don't know, she was already the leader of Mandalore a long time ago. She wielded the Darksaber, and she lost the Darksaber to what's his bucket, and she was part of the Mandalorians, Moff Gideon, and they hold her responsible for the Empire coming and wiping out the Mandalorians and breaking up all the sects. So it's like she had her chance to lead the Mandalorians, and now you come to Din Djarin, who won the Darksaber in combat, and so naturally he would be the leader.
What happens if you get a rash?
And so, can we drop this, bro?
What happens if you need to see the doctor?
My issue is,
what happens if you get injured?
Joe, I need to.
You have to have a
get off. I just want to
that
say
already. We have
off.
IGA to kill you.
Joe, see you next week.
Hey, Maxa, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'm really tired.
Are
I
we
need to
doing
get
it
some
next week? It
sleep.
seems like most people
And if not, I'm going to be just let me
Next
know
week
if
is
next
Easter,
week
so
or in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it seems like most people just say take the week off, and we'll see you on April 16th.
All right.
It'll be a long show then, because we're going to talk about 2 movies and 2 entire episodes of this bull
This ended
crap.
up being a long show too, and there's 1 episode we got to talk about. So
because you guys won't shut up.
You can't win.
No, but no, if you turn upside down and squint, it's actually a good show.
It's fine. I'm enjoying it, but like I said, I am.
Okay.
Good night. We love you. Go subscribe to the channel.
Love you.
Yep. But yeah, it makes more sense to me that Din Djarin won the Darksaber, and it's a more compelling story to be thrust leadership upon you. Like, you are the leader
and to
of
have
Mandalore.
Bo-Katan as his vizier. Giving him
hey,
advice.
I made these mistakes
I made a bunch of
past.
mistakes. Don't do this and don't do that.
Exactly.
But I have to walk my own path because this is the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Or honestly,
why
not set them up to have a romance between them? Sure, that'd be cool too.
They wouldn't be able to kiss ever, Jared.
Who cares about kissing? That's not the important part.
There's more to relationships than kissing.
Sorry. She can take her helmet off, but she would have to kiss his metal helmet.
Yeah. So
it would be the weird scene at the end of V for Vendetta. Okay.
They got necking. They could do necking.
There you go. But yeah, I just thought it was a really weird choice to have Din Djarin win the Darksaber, but Bo-Katan see the Mythosaur, and Bo-Katan be the one that is say, okay, you can take off your helmet because you are able to unite all of these clans.
Or because you're the only person who's seen. Maybe they could have explained it like, oh, after the mythosaurs were extinct, we had to leave our helmets on out of shame because we hunted them to extinction. But now because you've seen the mythosaur alive,
that could be good.
we are redeemed, and you can be the first to remove your helmet, and you will lead us.
But
Something like that.
That would be so
could
much
make
more
sense.
interesting. That would be so much more interesting if it were Din that saw the mythosaur.
Right.
He would have seen the mythosaur. He got the Darksaber. He doesn't want to lead the Mandalorians, but all these other Mandalorians that were following Bo-Katan before, they don't respect her anymore because she lost the Darksaber.
They don't want Din.
So how can
David,
she?
It's not going to happen. It's
back?
going to be Bo-Katan because they want Din to be able to go on
daddy.
one-off adventures because they don't know how to write. We've seen it. This is like, a lot of it has been
Boba
episodic
Fett being a
in the
leader,
past, and this is like the first time the whole thing is like a story arc the whole time, and it's filth. It's garbage. They don't know how to do it, and so they want to be able to go back to have episodic episodes where Din goes on an adventure. And he can't do that if he's the king of Mandalore, so they're going to give it to Bo-Katan so that Din Djarin can keep going on adventures with baby Grogu, but he can have a Mandalorian daycare if he reclaims Mandalore, so we can drop Grogu off. Grogu can do some funny hijinks and swallow some bugs on Mandalore, and Din Djarin can have an adventure with not Cara Dune.
Yep.
This show is pissed.
I actually I agree with you. That's probably where they're going with it, and I do wish that it was Din since it's supposed to have been Din's show.
Exactly.
But I think for me, it doesn't bother me as much because I really do like Katie Sackhoff and Bo-Katan as a character.
I do too.
I'm enjoying it, and it's.
But why can't she be the
that,
mentor?
It's not bothering me. You're right. You're right that she should be. I'm just saying that's why it's not bothering me. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this because that's kind of what I would like that,
An official account.
I would be wildly surprised if it was.
How on earth is The Mandalorian available, though?
That's a good point, though. Yeah.
This is like they just scrub YouTube for people live streaming with The Mandalorian in the title and say we're going to save The Mandalorian. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of cringy.
Yeah, I saw that a while back. I agree with what Jared was saying about like why it is that she's able to remove her helmet. But unless you do something like, I really liked your idea of like, now that you've seen the mythosaur, you're redeemed in this way.
Guess what?
So you can take off the helmet.
I came up with it on the spot.
Really?
Just now.
I wouldn't.
I haven't. That thought hadn't crossed my mind. But when you tried justifying it, I was like, I can do a better job.
Yep. No.
Off the top of my head, I am a better writer than Dave Filoni buttface.
And the thing that I'm thinking though is that at the very least they should say, look, you're cool to go talk to other Mandalorians and take off your helmet because you need to be interacting with them and not come across too culty like we do. But don't walk around in front of all these other people that we tell it is so important that you always have your mask on. We're gonna just show them, oh, she's cool now. Like
adjust it because the Mandalorians probably wouldn't have hunted the mythosaur to extinction, but it could have been their hubris, like environmentalism. Okay, it could have been overmining the planet caused the mythosaurs to go extinct. So in their shame, they had to cover their faces and they could never remove their helmets.
Sure, cool. I'm down with that.
That would have been cool.
I think the other thing is too for me. I'm
that would make more sense.
That they just
that would be satisfying if it's a penance rather than like a religious belief. Well, that would actually make more sense.
Penance would make a ton of sense, but I also,
they don't have the answer. They don't know what it is.
Yeah,
because I've just been wishing for them to like get past this idea that they all have to always have their helmet on all the time, because I do think it's kind of a little bit ridiculous. That's why I'm like, no, don't say that we all still have to keep it on, but you just get to do it different. Like, have Bo-Katan be convincing them that, hey, it's actually going to be okay to not do it. So that's another part of the reason why, even though I get what the reason was that they explained in the show for why she's able to take her helmet off, I wasn't liking it because I still just don't like that they have to keep their helmet on all the time. It's cool, but it's also very impractical. So
yeah. It just would have been much better storytelling if it was Din Djarin.
Mm-hmm. That's also true. I agree with that.
I have zero excitement for this show.
Yeah, I also think that, again, there's a huge part of it that, like, Book of Boba Fett and all those other ones like tanked the reputation of this Disney Star Wars shows to the Star Wars fans that are out there. And because it took so long to come back, because they took a break for Book of Boba Fett, a lot of other casual fans probably are not paying attention, not realizing, oh, the show with the cute baby Grogu that we love is back. Oh, and but wait, didn't they get rid of baby Grogu at the end of it? So like, yeah, I think they've poorly handled the way this.
I think that this is just as bad though. Like this is worse. Seasons 1 and 2 were okay. They were okay. They weren't great. They were fine. This is bad.
They were pretty awesome.
This is really bad.
Now this is not as bad as Book of Boba Fett.
Agreed. Yeah,
but it's
okay. If Book of
the
Boba Fett
storytelling
is a 2,
is not great.
This is a 3. It's a
No,
tiny step
if
up.
Book of Boba Fett was a 2, then
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Kenobi was a 3 or 4, and this is like a
Kenobi was
5 or
a
6.
was a 0.05.
Kenobi was
You think
better than
Kenobi
Book
was
of Boba
worse
Fett.
than Book of Boba Fett? No, Book
Boba
of Boba
Fett
Kenobi
was
was
the
more
worst.
offensive for what. Look, it was structure. Yes, it was more competently made.
There you go.
It was way worse though for what it did to the franchise and what it did to canon.
I don't think it did anything to canon.
It also did way more damage than Book of Boba Fett did because it brought in more people who got more pissed off.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, more people are going to show up to watch Kenobi than
It not only did it
And you
piss.
got them pissed off,
Book of Boba Fett is pissed off the original trilogy people. Book of Boba
that's
Fett
a good point.
pissed off the holdouts from the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan pissed off the holdouts from the prequel trilogy, and Mandalorian season 3 is going to piss off the holdouts for the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're probably right about that. I still think Boba Fett was a worse show.
Much worse.
But
Slightly worse. Yeah, we're all on the same page here. I don't know why we're arguing.
Because you're wrong.
I don't think Mandalorian's been that bad, but it's not. It's not like I'd say maybe a 5, but still.
Exactly.
Yeah,
this season's been a 5.
This season has been a 5, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the other
It's been
seasons have
pretty
been
bad.
like 7s and 8s, or 9s,
would
right
say
up in there,
season
like
1
really good.
Yeah.
Season 1's a 7, season 2's a 6.
So you'd go the other direction. I'd go 7, 8.
Season same thing. 7,
Season 2's
8, and then 5.
Look, season 2 is way worse than season 1, except for the last the last episode and the Bill Burr episode are the only.
That's the second to last episode,
oh,
I think.
that's way
Yeah,
better.
the last two episodes,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
the Bill Burr episode is the best thing that Disney
Very,
has
very
ever
well
done.
That one was really
It's
good.
fantastic. It's wonderful.
Which has got me excited because I think that one was one of the ones that was directed by Rick.
Rick
I
Famuyiwa.
can tell you who it wasn't
or
directed
whatever.
by.
He's doing the last 2 for this.
I can tell you who
season,
it
so.
wasn't directed
Although
by.
he also directed the first episode of this season.
Bryce
so I'm
Dallas.
nervous there.
I
I
can't.
liked her episode.
Bryce Dallas, I
Shut
your
can't be
face.
bothered to lose weight for Jurassic World 3 Howard.
I don't think she was great in Jurassic Park 3, but she directed some good episodes of Mandalorian. She did the AT-AT Village.
That's the one he didn't
Defense
like.
one.
He
That
didn't
was
like
really
that
good.
one at
That
all.
episode is silly.
No,
He
it was
hates that
good. It
one.
was fun.
I think you're ridiculous, but I know you don't like that one.
Anyway, I want to tell. Okay, I don't have anything else to say about this episode. Do you guys?
No, I'm good. I think
Okay.
Yeah.
we've exhausted it.
Okay, I have a funny story I want to tell about David's kid.
You gonna do that?
It was freaking hilarious.
That happened earlier today.
So I'm at David's house, and I'm playing with this little girl, and everyone's downstairs, but we were upstairs because my girl needed something, and so I was sitting on the couch, and I just had a little teeny cup of water. I was just resting on the edge of the couch, and she comes up to me. She says, "Why do you have a cup of water on the couch?" I was like, "Well, because I get thirsty and I like drinking water." She's like, "But you need to be careful or you might spill." And me, being the pompous, fun uncle that I am, I was like, I have never spilled in my life. I have trained for years, mastering the art of the cup, day in and day out, For 30 years of my life, I've trained from dawn till dusk at mastering drinking water without spilling it. And I really played it out. I went on for a long time, and I was like, let me show you my technique. Like, held it out, and like, I must gauge the distance between the cup and my lips. I must test for wind and calculate for barometric atmospheric pressures. I did not spill a drop. Are you not amazed? I was just being ridiculous. And she was like, I should practice that. I'm like, you should. You should. And I got up to go because I drank my water and I was still thirsty. So I got up to go refill my cup. And so I turned away into the kitchen, and I hear his little girl say, I did it, Uncle Alan. I did it without spilling. And I turn around, and the table is covered in paper towels, soaked in apple juice. And I'm like, what? What? You didn't spill? Are you sure? And she looks down. Oh, well, I spilled when I was pouring it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was so funny. I like took a picture and like this is the craziest girl. Oh, it was
man.
so funny.
See, I was just waiting for you to knock back the water and just like splash it right here.
No, I didn't drink. So I got more water and I did like, oh, watch this. Not a drop, right? Like I will start low and then like, whoa! I was just being ridiculous. It was so funny.
Very nice.
Like, I did it, Uncle Alan, without spilling. Uh-huh. Oh, well, I spilled when I was pouring it, but not when I was drinking.
That's cute.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
That's awesome.
My kids are cuter, but she's pretty cute. Bad takes, everybody?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we're not done.
We're not done. Hey, it's only a 2-hour show. We'll be done in a second.
Oh goodness.
Hey, this is
All
this is
Let's do
gonna be a
this.
short show.
Let's do this. Lightning round.
Screen rants. Bad takes.
So this has recently been circling Twitter, but I'd seen this years ago. Well, not years ago, like a year ago when the show came out, that people were saying, did you know that Dave Filoni said in an interview that Cad Bane's breathing tubes are to prevent him from being force choked by Jedi? Which is literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I was going to do a bad take, but someone already did. When I looked in the comments, someone responded. So only someone as stupid as Dave Filoni would come up with that. Jedi don't even use force choke. That was a dark side technique. And they could just pinch the stupid tubes or force break his neck. This is so retarded. But I know that Dave Filoni did an interview talking about this. And I'm like, this is the most pompous, stupid thing. Like, I'm so deep. I've thought of all the details. And it's literally retarded and makes no sense.
I will say, I mean, Luke uses the force choke in the beginning of episode 6. So,
Okay.
Not just dark side, even though it was considered dark side. It's not unique.
Counterpoint, force pull off them tubes. Like, it's retarded. I hate Dave Filoni, not as a person, as a writer. I don't hate anyone in person.
That's like your opinion, man.
Except Satan. I hate that guy.
You know him in person?
I've heard because oh man, I love Norm Macdonald. One of my favorite jokes is, the more I hear about this Hitler guy, the more I realize I don't think he was a good dude. It's such a good joke. It's like, Yeah, I don't think he was a good guy.
Yep.
That's a bad take, and someone already got to it first. David, you sent me this. 5 new Star Wars movies that would get the saga back on track.
I don't
After
think I
two-
sent you
Yeah.
this.
Did you not? Okay, you sent me a different one then.
But let's hear it.
After 2 lackluster theatrical releases, Star Wars needs a new direction to get the saga back on track. There are a few titles that can do that. We can agree about lackluster. I would disagree on the number.
That sounds about
Oh,
right.
theatrical though.
The theatrical
Yeah,
ones, yep.
okay.
Last Jedi and Rise of
So
I
Skywalker.
always-
there's at least 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Solo was good, but it was not
The Old Republic.
well received.
Yeah.
If
But-
they did a faithful adaptation, yes, but I have no faith in that they'll
Yeah,
do
exactly.
a faithful
That's the problem.
adaptation anymore.
If it's Disney, it's still, but the fact that they haven't done it is insane. But they're not going to do it because they want to do the High Republic, which
Yeah.
doesn't sell copies because it's
Which-
bad.
It's also based on a time when there was no galactic conflict, so they have to
Manufacture
they're
something. Yep.
bounty hunters were bad guys, and there's things that are happening in secret that we're not supposed to know about. It's like, yeah. What's the next one?
Yeah, but
I would love
So
a
far-
faithful Old Republic.
so far it's a semi good take.
They're not good.
Although I would expect that would be on the top of the list, though.
hmm
Assuming
But
they're
how you
going
look
from-
at it, this is
from the
this
least
is
to
the
the
top
most.
of the
Yeah,
list.
that's
you
good.
know?
And then the
Sure.
first Jedi, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That could be
Yep.
good, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
I don't-
definitely been
I don't-
rumored to be some of the different ideas that they've had before, though.
I don't think that has that been explored in the extended universe. I don't know.
In the extended universe, it has, yeah.
That could be
And the
very.
old
That
not-
could be very
It's
interesting.
no longer canon; it's just legends now. But
My
yeah.
guess is it
Mhm.
was probably an incel who decided, I want other people to also not have sex. And then the father, daughter, and the son. Apparently, that was a good episode of Clone Wars. I wouldn't know. I didn't make it that far.
Yeah,
because
I don't.
watched 3 seasons of garbage.
It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I
It's
think
good. I don't think it can be explored any further. I wouldn't want it to be explored any further.
It gets more praise than I think it deserves. People
Yeah.
just love this. The Mortis
There's supposed to be
series,
embodiment
whatever it is.
of the light and the dark, the two
And the balance.
daughters, and then the
Yeah.
father is like the balance, and then one of them tries to kill the father, and take the
Yeah.
take away the balance of the force. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
But I think it's been
It's fine.
explored. It doesn't need
okay.
more.
Then Lando. This would just be Solo too.
Yeah, which
I'd
is
be
what
cool with
they
that. And
planned
honestly,
on
he was
doing.
one of the best parts of it.
He was.
Yes,
he was
great.
the best part of
But
the
it
solo.
wouldn't be a Lando movie. It would be a Solo movie with Lando in it.
Or it could be a Lando movie
Maybe.
with Solo in it.
That would really go over well. Thrawn, yeah. Duh.
Well, they're working
Yeah.
on that for the shows. It looks like so.
Yeah, that's gonna
Are
be
they
in Ahsoka.
though? Are they?
Oh yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be the main villain in Ahsoka, hands down, guaranteed.
Okay.
Yep.
But again, people that aren't familiar with anything else but the movies, it's gonna come out of nowhere for them. So
That's it.
well, that's a good list.
That's actually a solid list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the list. There's 4. There's 4 on the list. Oh, 5. Yeah.
Didn't it say
no,
5? Yeah, it was like it
It's
says
a-
5.
Surprisingly good take. So give
Hey.
him your medals.
Screen Rants. Good takes?
Good take. This one me off because I hate the I hate it. R2's Force Awakens role was the weirdest callback. I literally read this article and for 5 minutes couldn't figure out who R2 was.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, it's R2. Morgan
D2.
Heimel is just retarded.
No. So here's the problem. I agree
That's
with you.
Luke
I hate it.
Skywalker's. Yeah.
I hate R2 being spelled like that,
Yes.
but that is consistent from the very first novelization, and everywhere else,
Yes.
George often refers to it spelled this way. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world, but it is not the author's fault here.
Yes.
Yeah. I
This is George's fault. This is George being dumb.
hate it.
Mm-hmm. They also spell out 3PO, THREEPIO.
I hate it.
I am
Moving on.
100% with you.
Moving on. Wakanda Forever wasted its perfect Black Panther replacement.
Mhm.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever made Shuri the next Black Panther, unfortunately wasting the best candidate to take on the mantle in the process. You mean like not
Shuri?
or just recasting him, which would have been the obvious choice. Did you guys know that it was his dying wish to not be recast? Or to be recast?
Or to be recast?
And to not
Was
have
it?
the mantle moved, to just recast him. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's sad.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
He begged Disney to recast him. That's
actually
part of the
do
reason why
think-
he hid his illness,
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't want the character to die with him.
I actually do think this is a good take, though. Beyond what you're saying about it would have been great to
Yes,
recast him.
this
If they're
character,
going to,
it would make sense.
she
I
would
don't
have
know.
been
I can't
much
remember her
better.
name.
Nakia, I think.
Nakia?
Yeah, Nakia.
Sure. Yeah, she was probably a much better choice. That was his love interest,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, and she's done international work. She's been a spy, but she's also done like more
Sure.
overt international work. She's actually competent as a fighter and everything. Yeah.
This movie is free on Disney Plus now, and I still have not seen it.
I thought you watched it.
Fine.
No, I pirated it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
While it was still in theaters, and I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I started it, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and I stopped.
Yeah, I was gonna watch it with my wife, but then she went and watched it with my son without me, and now she doesn't want to watch it again because it wasn't that great. That's like,
Bad.
great. Now I gotta like find the time to watch it by myself for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
well,
wouldn't worry about it.
the one that I want to watch is the Murder Mystery 2 is on Netflix now, and I want to watch it with my wife.
Glass Onion.
It's
No.
no,
No.
the Adam Sandler one.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
a lot of
I
people
didn't even know
like
they
it.
were making a second one.
Yeah, no, it's out right now.
That was
I
fun.
really I'm Adam Sandler's really hit and miss. I actually didn't grow up with a lot of his movies because my parents didn't like him.
Yeah,
No, he was
we had
too
to watch
vulgar.
him in secret.
So a lot of his movies I didn't see until I was older, so I don't like have that nostalgia factor. Like I loved Waterboy when I was a kid. You know, there's a couple of them that I did see, but I didn't see Billy
Happy
Madison.
Gilmore's still
I
the
didn't
best.
see Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore until I was in college. Yeah, they're good movies. But yeah, like his
Love
Netflix
Happy
his-
Billy Madison.
Netflix stuff has been horrible. But except for Murder Mystery, I really liked. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
I saw the trailers for that. I haven't seen it, and it didn't look all that great to me. It didn't
It's
look all that
funny.
interesting to
It's
me.
No,
really
it was
clever.
really fun. It's kind of like the movie Date Night.
Yeah,
but
but better.
yeah. Well, I don't know, but I don't know about better.
but not
I
as
really like Date Night.
Vulgar.
Mm.
Date Night
Yeah,
was unnecessarily crude.
Date Night had some pretty adult jokes in there, but yeah.
I walked out of the theaters because I was with a girl.
Oh,
I was on a date
yeah, that's not a movie. Yeah,
to go see Date Night, and I
You
was
don't
like,
have a
"This
date night to go see Date Night.
this
yeah.
is not appropriate." Like, hey, you know, I'm a good Christian boy, okay, and it was a Christian girl, and it was not appropriate for date.
Yeah.
So we
I
left.
see that.
And then it was funny. Like a month later, I talked to my mom, and she's like, "Date Night is so funny," and I was like, "I just
I just walked out of
and my mother is telling me she liked this movie."
it.
I was like, "I am more prudish than my mom."
If only she were still watching these, huh?
Yeah. See, but then you watch it
I'll clip
again
it.
when
I'll
you're
clip-
married
I'll
or in a
clip
steady relationship, and that's a funny movie.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I've watched it since. It's much better when you're married.
I was gonna say that probably has something to do with it.
Or if you're a heathen and don't believe in the sanctity of marriage, it's probably funny when that's fine. It's fine.
But it's very relatable though when you're
It's
married
okay.
and have a couple kids, because that's the situation in the show.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's a
great.
married couple, the romance is dying, and they decide to go on a date night, and it's great.
Everything
It's
goes
funny.
wrong.
It's a great movie if you're married, or if you like, if you're a heathen. That's totally fine. It's really great. See, we're accepting
murder
of all people.
mystery is very much the same thing.
Like I like
but
murder mystery.
it was very fun. I liked it a lot.
And I still can't, but I don't want to watch it. I know if I watch it by myself, Stephanie's gonna get mad. But like we are rare. Like I go to sleep when she gets home.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's go.
Next one.
Let's get through these.
Rapid fire. How Wednesday season 2 can solve its love triangle problem. Spoilers. It's already solved.
Okay.
He's
to
the
know.
bad guy. The twist of the season 1 is that he's the bad guy.
Didn't he half redeem himself?
So the love
though, at the end?
triangles. No, he doubled down
No?
at the end.
Okay, I didn't remember.
Obviously,
I cared a lot about this.
The love triangle's done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't
This is
finish.
a
I watched
silly
like 3
article.
episodes, and it didn't go any further.
But what's worse though is that this guy, the one that's not the bad guy, is a total creep, and she shouldn't be with him either. Wednesday Addams shouldn't be in a love triangle. That's not what the show should be about. But this is an incredibly bad take. Makes me think they didn't even watch the show. They only watched the TikTok dance. So, Valkyrie, why Tom Cruise and the cast didn't use German accents. This is actually a kind of a good take.
This is a throwback.
This is a throwback.
Yeah.
I really liked Valkyrie. It was weird to cast a bunch of non-Germans in the German roles. But I think it was an incredibly smart choice. Bryan Singer, I believe.
That's what it says there, yeah.
Yes, Bryan Singer.
Director Bryan Singer.
The one who made the 2 good X-Men reboot movies. Oh no, he did the originals too. No?
I don't know.
I believe he did I don't know.
I'll look it up.
he
You keep
did.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a weird choice, and people are criticizing it. And obviously, if it's a German director, you would want to cast Germans. But Bryan Singer wanted to tell this story, and he wanted, it wasn't made for Germans. It was made for Americans to say, hey, not all Germans were bad during World War II. It was to tell the story of these awesome, amazing, brave people who tried to assassinate Hitler. And it's a really cool story. Unfortunately, spoilers, although read a history book, it didn't work. And everyone dies in the end. They'll get executed. I think like one character survives, maybe, right? So it's this horrible tragedy. But I think it was a really cool choice to get all these, non-Germans in this role. It made the movie more
relatable.
Because he said like, I'm solely focused on the drama and the story, and so he cast people in these roles to fill the part. And they tried doing a couple takes with them doing like German accents, and he's like, no, I don't like this. Just tell the story.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Yeah, it's
take
it's a little bit different from my position on the I don't like race swaps, right? But I mean, like German, they're white, so it's fine, right? We can play Germans.
Yeah,
We're all
that's a good
white.
choice. So to answer your question about the X-Men, he did X-Men 1 and 2. He did not do 3, which was
But he
the
did
worst
do
one.
But he did do Apocalypse.
He did do Apocalypse, and he did do X-Men Origins Wolverine. But then he also did Days of Future Past, which is freaking phenomenal.
But he did not do Dark Phoenix. So like
I didn't know. I didn't think he did Apocalypse. That's interesting.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, it
He
was
directed
it was a
produced
very interesting
Interesting
conversation.
Choice,
Like we spent a lot of time going back and forth, and suddenly it was just like, I just want you to tell the story. Don't worry about, because obviously some people would be able to. Kenneth Branagh would probably be able to do a better accent, than Tom Cruise, and so I don't know. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
You should watch Valkyrie.
But going back to the time though, when you if you're having everybody talk in a German accent, like you said,
you're going to be thinking about the accent.
Not only that, but you're just painting a picture in your mind that back in that time, German accent back in World War II, they're bad guys. They're the villains. And like I said, that's not what this story is about. This story is humanizing those characters and saying, hey, look, not all Germans were down with what was happening in Germany.
So the moral of the story is it's okay to race swap if you make them American.
Well, I was going to say too, though. That's an interesting point you bring up, David. But I think I would have been okay just watching them speaking German the whole time and having subtitles.
Reading subtitles.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then again, when you do that from a technical standpoint, you'd be like, "Oh man, they're all speaking German," but that one actor is like, "Oh my gosh, his German accent was awful."
Well, no,
that would have been great to see, like if they cast real Germans and if it's German accents. Like I watched Dark, I watched all 3 seasons, and I don't mind reading subtitles, but you have to admit, not as many people would have seen it. And he's like, like he said in the interview, I felt compelled to tell this story to the world. And so, like in that instance, like I think this was a really smart choice.
Yeah,
because I obviously probably still would have watched it if it was all in German. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't have. Okay, but if someone told me to, and it was really good, and they promised, hey, it's as good as Dark. Go watch it. I'm like, okay, I'll read the subtitles. It's worth it.
Yeah,
I learned a lot of German watching Dark. Kinder, dein Kinder. It's probably terrible. That was my biggest revelation. It was like, that's why it's called kindergarten, because kinder means kids.
There you go.
They're growing kids in a garden. Anyway. Inception ending explained. Is Cobb still dreaming?
Oh
still
my gosh.
Confused about Inception ending? Here's an explanation of what really happened in the film and Nolan's Nolan's sci-fi really means.
That's the beauty of the freaking movie.
Wait. Watch this, guys.
Oh my gosh. Like, this was a conversation for a couple months after the movie came out. Like, what are we still talking about this for? Holy crap.
Oh my
gosh.
Is this like a college thesis or something? What the hell?
You want to know what's funny? Way up at the top,
they answer the question.
Oh, these are all the things. These are all the clues that he's still dreaming. The clues that he's still alive. Here's what Christopher Nolan said. Nolan says it doesn't matter. That's not the point of the film.
Exactly.
Anyway, so here's this and this.
Oh gosh, yeah. The point of the ending is whether or not he is dreaming or not. He decided he doesn't care.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Of the
Stop talking about it.
The character no longer cares if he's dreaming or not. He's decided to accept the reality and be with his kids. If it's a dream, so be it. And if it's not, awesome. And that's the point. The point is that he walks away from it. Okay. And he literally, like the director says, Christopher Nolan says, I intentionally didn't give you the answer because that's not the point. And he says, and I didn't include any secrets in the film that would explain one way or the other, because then the ambiguity at the end would make the film be a mistake. So he literally says, there is no answer to your question. I intentionally didn't leave any clues that would give you the answer to the question, because that would be a failure of a film to communicate that. It's not a mistake. Okay. I put it there at the end because it's supposed to be ambiguous. You're supposed to think about it, but ultimately you're not supposed to theorize about it, because that's not The real point of the scene is that Cobb no longer cares about the top. That's the point of Inception. And Mark Clark, you absolute unit. Go watch Inception, dude.
He saw the middle like quarter of Inception. Didn't watch the beginning, and then
Yeah.
One of the best
Inception
movies
is
ever
so
made.
good.
So somehow he's watched the sequel to Inception, even though that doesn't exist.
Contraception.
Yeah,
Wow.
Inception is one of my favorite movies. It's so good.
I have a friend.
Look,
He's huge into like sound and like the speakers, and this movie is really good about that. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
loves the movie not only just for the story but the sound.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, the sound design is amazing.
The question is answered in the first 20% of the article, and the rest is, well, I know he said it doesn't matter, and that there is no answer, but here are all and here are the rules, and the levels of the dream. There's different levels, and here's this, and these are the characters. The characters are all explained. If we examine all the characters and all their archetypes, there's the architect, the extractor, the dreamer, and if we understand all of their totems and all of this, and then we can finally, if we analyze the levels, then we might be able to decide if he's dreaming or if he's not dreaming. And I'm like,
But also, it's 13 years old.
yeah.
Like, this conversation is 13 years too late. Like, come on.
Inception explained what the ending really means. Is Cobb still dreaming? I actually didn't even finish reading this because I was like, you're insane.
Yeah.
You insane man. Like he didn't give that interview for a couple months. So after the movie came out, everyone's like, oh, is he dreaming or is he not? But yeah, so he finally gets to the point. That's the. I mean, it doesn't.
It's a relative concept.
That's not it. Reality's a red. That's not the point of the movie, though. The point of the movie is that he's given up. He's accepted.
Like you said that at the beginning when you had Christopher Nolan's quote.
Yep. That's hilarious.
It even came to the wrong.
Well done.
You rented it once, but never watched it. What is? You are Mark Clark, my friend. You are an enigma.
I'll give it to him. It's long. It's 3 hours, so it's like it's hard to commit to that for sure. I understand that, but it's good.
It's entertaining all the way
through.
Practice
for marriage. Yeah. Okay, you got to learn to commit to something.
You got to
watch Inception and then get married.
Yeah,
that's the Tech-Mex guarantee. Speaking of Daniel Day-Lewis, I mean, why can't Leonardo DiCaprio? Was Teddy a U.S. Marshal in Shutter Island? By the end of Shutter Island, it's clear that nothing was as it seems, but it's unclear if Teddy was ever a U.S. Marshal or if it was part of his delusion. Have you guys seen Shutter Island?
I have not. It's on my watch list.
I won't spoil it. Let me put it this way. At the end of Shutter Island, it is explicitly clear whether or not Teddy is a U.S. Marshal. The movie straight up answers the question, tells you verbatim. This movie is the opposite of Inception. It is, the ending is not ambiguous. It tells you what is.
That's hilarious.
You are retarded. Great movie, by the way. Pretty disturbing. Good time. Great performance. Good twist. Good stuff. I like Shutter Island. Not as much as Inception, but it's pretty good.
Yep. I've wanted to see it for a long time.
Yeah. I believe it was on HBO. Might not be anymore. I think that's when I watched it. I think it was the second time. I watched it on a plane.
I think that might be another one I have on DVD, but
I saw it on a plane. And then again on HBO because it's good. Anyway, Here's some more bad takes. You sent me this one from the Mary Sue. I've officially found
Yes. Yeah.
from the Mary Sue. I've officially found the worst take on The Last of Us season finale. I didn't read it
Great.
because I wanted to.
Yeah. So basically, this there's someone that
First off, let me preface this by saying I have never read a single article from Mary Sue that wasn't dripping with hatred for men and just absolute, just
this article is no
just horrible takes.
It's dripping with hatred for Christian
Christians,
men in particular, and pro-life men.
I read the first paragraph.
Yeah. No. So one person found that the finale
ending was
of
pro-life.
The Last of Us was a subtle or not so subtle pro-life message, and this person is going and just ripping this guy apart for his
It's
religious
not surprising.
views. And it's
that
like,
conservative
how
outlet-
dare you find that message in this thing that's clearly the opposite of what he's trying to do? But
Here it is. I'll read it. It's
go
not
ahead.
surprising that the conservative It's not surprising that the conservative outlet, the National Review, found some way to spin a pro-life message in a show about the apocalypse, and yet I'm still frustrated. I mean, and so to give you context, if you haven't seen it, in the end of the show, he murders a bunch of people to save the little girl's life because they're going to sacrifice her for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
She has the cure for the disease, but it's in her brain. They don't tell her about it. They're gonna say, "Hey, you have." They think she knows that she's immune. She thinks she can help make the cure. They don't tell her that they have to kill her to get it.
The key
And
being,
then-
they don't tell her, especially with what she ends up getting to. In
They
this
don't tell her they have to
article.
kill her to get it, and then he goes and
i.e., they don't give her a choice.
Choice.
I'm getting there, David. Don't spoil it. Okay. He goes and kills everyone and saves her life. Written nearly 2 weeks after HBO's season 1 finale, they somehow found that this was pro-life and celebrating the life of this girl and making sure that she's alive.
Yeah.
The piece in question talks about how it's pro-life, yada, yada, yada. We understood it.
It all makes sense. Yeah.
The article, written by a cool guy, fundamentally misunderstands the media that he reportedly consumed, because it's not a pro-life message. Joel saving Ellie quite literally has everything to do with the right to choose. Yeah.
Which is why he lied to her in the end and didn't let her choose.
And this is where the left and the right disagree on pro-life and the right to choose, because you really don't realize what you're saying here. He was supporting Ellie's right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
In this instance, in this analogy, Ellie is the fetus.
Yes.
The one who Christians believe has the right to choose whether or not they want to live or die.
Or at the very least, that choice should not be taken away from them before they get a chance to have that choice, be alive and have that choice.
I am very pro-choice. I am pro babies having the choice whether or not they want to live. And I also support lots of other choices like contraception and responsibility or abstinence, if that's your, hey, you can be like, I did it. I did abstinence. Then I got married and then I didn't need to. But contraception's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Self-control's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The mucus method that's a thing. I can't remember the scientific term for it. I only remember the gross term for it.
Yeah.
Or like sterilization. You can do that too. Mm-hmm. I support all of those choices. I just don't support the one choice of making the choice for Ellie.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
And that's
escaping
Billings-
from
the Billings
responsibility for
method.
your actions.
the Billings method. That's what
Shout
it
out
is.
to
Yeah.
Martina in the comments for making my comments less gross. It's called the Billings method. It's colloquially. Oh my gosh,
Yep.
I'm struggling tonight. The Billings method is colloquially
Colloquialism.
referred
Yeah.
to as the mucus method.
Yeah. Adoption too is another option too. But yeah, I think that's one issue with the pro-choice movement. It's really only pro one choice, and every other choice is we're not going to promote. But she does go in this episode. It's like, how dare he make that comparison between Ellie and a fetus, because a fetus is not alive and can't make choices for themselves. And like that's kind of the point.
Well, you know what's hilarious? They always say, "Don't call it a baby, call it a fetus." Do you know what the definition of fetus is?
It's Latin for baby, right?
It's Latin for baby. More specifically, offspring, which translates to
Baby.
baby.
It's just
an offspring
it's just
is
doing another term
born.
to. It's just playing the word game to obfuscate responsibility. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that she's like, how dare people find this pro-life message in this thing that wasn't trying to preach it. That's the thing. I find more and more often you find stuff, the stories that really speak to the heart, a lot of times you'll find in there a pro-life message, because you know what? We all want life. We all want that. That's something that we can all relate to.
Ellie's a fully grown teenage girl, not a collection of cells. Yeah, because you let her, because you didn't kill her before then.
Yeah. But anyway, we've gone too far.
She absolutely deserves the right to choose, just like babies do. So
exactly.
Oh man, that's funny. That's a bad take.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny though, because she said it was a bad
person.
take. And
I also think it's interesting at the bottom there's
a bad take.
Sure, that's an interpretation, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
So you're saying no, it's at first you say no, you can't. I can't believe you would take that out of it. And then you're like, okay, I can see how you could take that out of it, but I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, then don't say that you don't get why he could take that out of it.
Exactly.
Right?
That's dumb.
But
I feel like you should be like, these people should be like, there's no logical consistency here too, because you should be praising adoption. Because how else are you going to? How else are like white couples supposed to get black babies? How is Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, how are they supposed to get their colored babies?
Yeah.
If they're all aborted. Kidding
aside, though, any adoption story is a pro-life message, and people like don't even realize that. There's been like was it last year or something?
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, right. Colin Kaepernick is a walking pro-life message.
He is.
No, but it happens all the time. Last year, I think there was a Super Bowl ad for Toyota.
That's why he kneels. That's why he kneels.
Girl.
That's why he kneels instead of covers his heart. He's kneeling out of in
respect
for all the dead babies.
No, but there was that commercial about the adopted girl that she didn't have legs or something, or her legs had to be amputated, and she throughout the thing they're like, oh, your life was so hard or whatever, but she competed in the Olympics and she won a medal or something like that, and everybody, when it came out, it was like, this is an amazing pro-life message, and everybody's like, how dare you find pro-life message in this adoption story? It's beautiful. And it is like,
that's what it is.
Because it's true.
It's beautiful. That's how we find a lot of beauty in a pro-life message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we like being alive. It's great. I like
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I like not killing babies. I think that's evil. So,
anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. The Last of Us, the 10 best creative changes season 1 made. You sent me this one too.
Yeah, that's another one I sent you. We can roll through it really quickly.
Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but The Last of Us made a lot of changes to the game, and these are the best ones. The timeline shift.
That's fine.
Yeah, so instead of happening in the far off future in 2033, they changed it to 2023, right after the pandemic. So that's makes it more relatable.
10 years really made. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
that because it's 10 years made a big difference. A more sympathetic Joel.
Yeah, I don't remember what they said for this one, but
there's
because
Pedro Pascal lost a child. So and the game Joel didn't lose a child.
He did.
No, he lost.
No.
He had a daughter in the game too, didn't he?
Oh, so he's the same amount of sympathetic?
Yeah.
But he opens up to his brother about how his daughter did.
I guess I guess maybe they're saying that he's a bit more vulnerable. He shows his vulnerability more. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen the game.
How is this different?
That's what I think they're trying to say here. Maybe Jared, you played the game. Did
Well, I'm trying to read this and
this is literally just describing the game too.
Yeah.
This describes the game.
The game.
That's like I'm not. If I scroll down, it reveals the next one. That's the point. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I do remember that like when I watched the scene after this particular episode that it shows, I thought it was interesting because they did talk about how like you start to see this change where Joel isn't always there to save her sort of idea, right? Which is kind of interesting because we see that a lot in these shows. And so he's more sympathetic in that aspect in that particular episode because he's not there to save her, but he's there to comfort her after she's gone through that.
He's there to emotionally save her, not physically in the moment.
That the same way in the games?
Well, no. So in the game, you save her rather than.
Well, she saves herself from
she still kills the other dude. Guy.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. She still saves herself from him.
Yeah.
You just come across her in the building, right? And you get her out of the building.
Yeah.
That's different. The mall scene was a good change, but wasn't that also in the game in the expansion?
Yeah, the mall scene's in the expansion.
Okay, I think so they're maybe just saying that they actually put it in instead of leaving it for an expansion or something.
It does mention that in the game there was a horde of zombies and not just one singular zombie, which I thought was a poor choice because it seemed incredibly stupid of them.
It's a bad choice.
Yeah,
that's a bad example. I thought David's death was really bad in the show.
What did they do in the game?
It was just not good. It wasn't effective.
No, in the game, what did they do?
It was more intense because he played up the fact that he was a pedophile, and they really washed over that in the TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
So his death wasn't very satisfying in the TV show.
Yeah. Just reading through this, I'm not even really seeing them actually having any supporting evidence to their idea that this version is better somehow.
Jared, you've noticed a pattern.
You've noticed
a wild pattern appears. That's what they've been doing this whole time. They don't have any supporting evidence. Bill and Frank's story. Okay, that's a change. I didn't like it.
To each their own,
in retrospect, too, added absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Didn't add a ton. I will say, while it wasn't everything that I wanted to really spend a lot of time with. I thought it was a kind of beautiful story for what it was, and cool.
Nothing to do with advancing the main plot.
Absolutely nothing. And that's not going into how problematic it got at the end, which I take great issue with. But we went into that ad nauseum.
Yep.
The sport. No. I did. No. This was a horrible choice.
I like the tendrils.
I like the tendrils, but I think getting rid of the spores was kind of dumb, especially because their replacement for the spores was that inner network that they used one time.
They said it was never going to come up again, and I predicted it, and you guys were like, "Nah, surely it's going to come up again." They wouldn't be that stupid.
Yeah, I did like the visual of the tendrils coming out though. It was cool.
I thought this was good. I don't know.
No, she was an idiot in the show. She was.
I thought she was fine.
My lighter
But-
doesn't work.
Oh yeah, you're right. The
can't-
lighter not lighting,
it's
like just
all- I
bend
was
down
in the
and
room
take
That's
it.
not
Grenade.
her. That's not her being an idiot. That's just. I guess she could have used a grenade. I was just.
Yeah, you're right. That part of it was kind of dumb, but I liked the whole scene of Tessa's death in the show.
Yeah,
I don't know
The
how
kiss
I don't
was
know how it
weird as
happened in the
heck.
game.
I don't know why he was
the kiss
kissing
was
her.
weird. Yeah, the kiss
because
was
of
weird, but
because of the tendrils. That
It would have
they-
been
tendrils
cooler
go in
if
and
she
get
was
into her
fighting
body more.
Fedra.
In the
That's how
game,
she-
you don't see it. Like she
Yeah.
basically
But
stays
because she's not
behind.
she doesn't fight zombies in the game. She's fighting Fedra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys leave. She stays there, and you hear like gunshots and.
So I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, from what it sounds like, it's probably better in the show. I liked it. Aside
Hard
from
disagree.
I like the zombie.
there's a
zombies
better
better than
way to
Petra,
light
but,
the fire.
Yeah.
I hard disagree, but I harder disagree with.
Yeah, that is
This.
absolutely awful. And,
Yeah,
and especially knowing that she was not a character in the game, it's just mind-boggling how they thought that
It's not
actress could do
mind-boggling.
an
It
intimidating
doesn't.
character.
It's not
just-
surprising. It's
I honestly-
obvious why they did it, David.
So I honestly I think everything except for who they got to play that role, I agree that like
And again,
changing the way they
I
put that
really
together,
like that
I agree.
actress. She was
She just doesn't fit
horrible
that
in
role.
that role.
I will
Yeah.
tell you something. The actress that they have, and you're probably going to disagree with us, Alan, just because you hate her anyway, and it's in The Mandalorian. But the actress that they have in The Mandalorian that was the like working with Gideon and did the fake out trip or whatever, she would have been an intimidating,
I didn't
charismatic
hate
leader. And you hate the character. You hate that.
The
You
fake
hate
out
the
trip?
show. You hate everything. So you hate everything about
Her
The
performance
Mandalorian.
was fine.
Yeah.
The writing
what,
is idiotic.
yeah. No, I agree with you, and that's my point. Is I think
Yeah,
that
she
that,
would
that
have been a
actress
better choice.
in
Yeah.
this exact role, if they'd done everything the exact same but just swapped this actress,
Jared, I'm agreeing
Well,
with you.
that
Why
actress,
are
I'm
you putting
100%
words in
right.
my mouth? I am agreeing with you.
I just assume you're going to disagree with me. It's an easier
No.
assumption. So
Mark Clark in the comments
especially
says
when I'm
he has
right,
no
you
idea
know.
what he's talking about. He only saw episode 3. Mark,
That's
You
kind
gotta
of-
be
also find it
trolling at this
funny
point, right?
that
Sorry.
episode 3 is the only one that he saw. Like, I
You are
love
a-
that. It's
This is
hilarious.
just meme. I honestly,
It's gotta
I
be-
honestly never know if you're telling the truth.
yeah, I agree. That's got to be because.
uh,
Like again, I didn't even hate episode 3 as much as most of the rest of you guys here. But if you're going to watch one episode, that seems like an odd choice. Very odd.
that was the
Mark.
episode that got the most buzz online.
It
so
got the most blood, so I guess there is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Anyway.
yes, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
agreed. I like
No,
that.
if we're talking about the
And-
flower, that was kind of weird, but the
No, I
mean,
thought it was well.
at least the opening scene in
well
episode 1
researched.
and this scene minus the nudity, which
Oh
was
yeah, that was weird.
brief. Gosh, it was a 10-minute scene, and they don't even like they're like you can see the cameraman slowly going nipples. Like they don't
It
even like,
wasn't that bad. I
literally
think they kept
like
away
everything
from
else
it
is
most of the
out
time,
of
but
focus.
Yeah.
They zoom in on the boobs.
Yeah.
Why?
In every other
Nah.
autopsy scene, you got a
was fine.
sheet draped across, and you just open
Mhm.
where you need to
Yeah.
see the
Mhm.
flesh. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And who?
The Adlers? Are
Those
those
are
the
the-
neighbors? They just
Those
Oh,
are
the neighbors
at
That's,
the beginning.
that's your number one change? What?
It's because apparently in the game they don't really see the outbreak. They just
I mean, it was kind
Well,
of
I'll
a
give that- I'll
this
give
is a
that. It
weird
was-
choice
it was
for
nice
number
to-
one.
It was nice to get to know them before they turned. That was fine. Sure.
You get
So
to
I
know them
wouldn't
before
put
they
that
turn,
as
you
your
get to
number
see
one.
That first scene where you see her be in the background
That was
while
good. Yeah, it was
that,
good.
that was cool.
yeah.
Number one change though, that's a weird one. I would have expected a list like this to put Bill and Frank as number one or something like that. You know, like
Yeah.
this as number one, that's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like the show.
It was okay.
It's better than Mandalorian, that's for sure.
I don't know about that.
This season maybe, but yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
it was more
Let's go.
confidently told than
Come on,
Magic.
we got to end this.
Star Trek Discovery never quite worked because it rejected core Star Trek ideas. Yes, I've been
I
saying
was gonna
this
say, that sounds about right.
for years. And I don't think it even I don't even think Star Trek Discovery works as a not a Star Trek show, and that is something that I will grant the J.J. Abrams movies. I don't think that the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies are bad movies. I think they're bad Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But if you disconnect it, they're entertaining films. But that's not what Star Trek is about. Star Trek Discovery, on top of completely misunderstanding Star Trek, also is not enjoyable.
I've only seen the first season, and I actually enjoyed the first season for what it was. But yeah,
Canceled, baby. Canceled.
Yeah, it was because of you. It was because of haters like you.
It's all because of me, baby. Yes, well, yeah, because we didn't watch it. Yeah, it does. It's not good. It doesn't have good ratings.
first season.
I guess it's my fault.
It wasn't. It was missing like you didn't really get to the dynamic of the bridge crew in the first season at least. So yeah.
What Discovery does right? Nothing. Moving on. CNN says if you're white and if you've posted a GIF or a meme of a black person to express a strong emotion, you may be guilty of wearing digital blackface. This was something that was making the rounds like a couple, maybe like a year ago, but now it's new. You're not allowed to use emojis or GIFs, guys. It's called digital.
Hey, fun fact. Do you know why emojis and smiley faces and Legos are yellow originally? Because nobody has that bright yellow skin, so it can
face.
No, nobody has that yellow skin,
Yes,
so it
they
can represent
do.
everybody.
Anyone.
David.
Have you never seen somebody afflicted with jaundice?
That's literally why
David,
Lego
our
made
brother,
it orange.
our brother was born with jaundice. He was a little Lego baby.
Jaundice aside,
and I find it extremely offensive to Asians that you say that no one has yellow skin.
But
I don't know
serious,
if that's the right way to approach that.
Well,
one,
then they
Alex.
can really feel represented.
Am I backwards on this? Is it? Did I say it wrong? Oh, it is racist to say that. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got confused.
This is just dumb.
Yeah,
it's dumb to begin with, but it would only be something I could be like, okay, fine, at least you're consistent. If they're also consistent and say that black people can't post white gifs, and they're not going to do that because it's dumb.
Retarded. You're retarded. You should feel bad, and I have a new stinger for you, baby.
Everything is racist. Everything is now white supremacy. When everything is racist, then nothing will be.
I didn't do the full song for the stinger.
dude, I love Thanos twerking in the background. That's so good. You just need to add the Spider-Man made me gay dance though.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, you gotta put that in there.
I can't have two Spider-Mans. I gotta get the Tobey Maguire.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Nah, you can't have two Spider-Mans. I already have two animes.
Okay, well then cut it out.
I have an anime and a K-pop that I was already like, that's already two Asian things.
Start with Tobey Maguire and then swap him out for the other one.
No, but because it's the perfect length. He walks out.
Okay, fine.
It's the perfect length.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect, David. We were talking. That's one of my pet peeves. I hate it when people say perfect. It perfectly encapsulates the meaning of it. It's perfect. If there's one word you should be pronouncing perfectly, it's perfect. Perfect.
Perfect.
CNN's a joke.
That's funny.
The rest of this is a little bit political. I should have saved this for not the end of the show.
For news instead of.
It's a little bit. It's not super political. It's a little bit political, but there was the shooting thing that there was this week, which is obviously a tragedy, except that some people on Twitter are psychotic, and we're posting things like this.
Oh my gosh.
Like days after
That's not okay.
This is Memology's the good guy here.
Yeah.
He exposes people like this.
Right.
Yeah, and then you had like this one. No, this one too. This one. There we go. Okay. This one. Like people have made effort into. It's not okay, guys.
Yep.
It's in very poor taste. That's a very bad take.
Yep.
So
Defending
let's
mass
not
shooters is
fight.
not okay.
You know what's crazy is Obama has made like 4 official statements on Twitter about how brave the trans community is, and he's made 0 statements on Nashville since the incident. So,
Yep.
yeah, everyone was responding to his tweet saying, "Oh, they're so brave! They're so brave!" with pictures of the girl who very bravely tried to pull the fire alarm so that everyone would leave. So they were posting pictures of her. Yeah, I don't like bad things. That's that. This was another one. This was actually posted by the majority whip for the Democratic House of Representatives in Wyoming. These people hate you for your values. So, not a good sign.
Yeah.
This one was crazy too. Moving on from the trans thing. Right-wingers have not demonstrated sentience. Therefore, it is impossible to murder them. That was
Supposed
after
to be some
the shooting
pro-choice message.
as well. Obviously, in response to the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. This was February. Never mind. Okay. It was
Just
happened before.
retweeted
Happened before.
after. Yeah.
Happened before. Would have been
Yeah.
in extra poor taste if it happened after.
Still poor taste at any time.
Yeah,
But
advocating for killing people is just not.
But people actually think this way, like, and they call us fascists. I want
Yep.
everyone to be happy, and this makes no sense. I don't hate anyone. I don't have hate in my heart for a single human on Earth. Just double checking.
Reviewing the list of people on Earth, all 8 billion, whatever of them.
Maybe Dave Filoni, but just him. Okay. Obviously, that's a joke.
It's a low blow.
But they call us hateful and say things like this.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Hypocritical and so. This was a new one. It was an old statement that was resurfaced.
Is anyone else hearing Alan going real quiet?
Yeah, you're getting real quiet,
underwater.
Am I real quiet? YouTube censoring. Being censored.
That's like your bike is dying or something.
I'm dying? That sounds totally different. Why does that sound different?
I don't know. Let's just end the show.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
end the
we
show.
lost one anyway. Yeah.
Way to end it on a downer, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it was bad order. There's only one thing to talk about. Yeah, white people are genetic defects. The irony in this statement is pretty weird. So that's that. I'm looking forward to reading books. Fonda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm almost done with Xenocide, and then I'm actually thinking I'll probably actually do the Shadow series afterwards. I know you're holding off on that for a little bit, but the Shadow series is also very good. And there's a couple of other books that have come out since that I haven't read. I think the last one that ties them all back together. I haven't read that one.
Yeah, Ender in Exile is not.
I have read that one.
It's it's supposed to. It takes place between
Ender's Game.
And Children of Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead. and it's supposed to replace the last chapter of Ender's Game because there were a little bit of inconsistencies because he wrote that one first. And it's about him making that journey to not stuff. I haven't read that one, and then the one that ties them all together is The Last Shadow.
Yeah, and I don't think I've read Shadows in Flight, but I haven't read The Last Shadow. There's also I have started reading the first Bugger War, the Earth Unaware, Earth Afire, and Earth Awakening.
Yeah.
Those are pretty fun. I'm waiting to start the Hive, the Swarm, the Hive, and the Queens until the Queens actually freaking comes out.
Yeah.
But
So
then there's another one that I saw, the Children of the Fleet, that looks like an interesting concept.
Yeah, that's like a spin-off.
Yeah, post the war with Battle School.
Yeah. we
I'm
haven't even
kinda
talked
interested
about
in.
Brandon Sanderson's new book that dropped yesterday.
Because I haven't read it. So
Yeah, me neither.
Well, I mean, we haven't addressed the fact that it
really
dropped.
quickly
So.
before we get it. So The Last Shadow it ties up the Shadow series and the Ender series. The final thread that's dangling at the end of that series, it explores that. It's not the last book. He's currently writing one more that is a sequel to The Last Shadow, which is Shadows Rising or something like that. I don't know. But I believe that's like the end of the Ender stuff. Aside from the prequels he's doing about the Formic Wars and such.
Yeah, those are good. I think he's actually got a co-author with that.
Yes, it's not. He's a co-author.
Like, but yeah,
so I'm not as interested in that.
They're fine. They're solid.
I like Brandon Sanderson. I don't read all the Jancy books. My friend's neighbor's with her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you see the Esquire article on Brandon Sanderson? Esquire did an article on him.
Oh yeah, after the aftermath of the crazy one.
And it's like, oh, this is actually like a good article. Like it has a little bit of criticism in there. It's still like it's actually well written article. It talks about a lot of the things that the Wired article talked about, but like doesn't say it mean. And actually, like, even though sure, Brandon's stuff has been very public about how he came to be and what he did and all that. But for those who maybe aren't aware of him, like the Wired article person was writing about, it might be nice to do a little brief overview of that, like the people in Esquire did. So Esquire did a great article on Brandon Sanderson. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to read that one next. I probably won't start it till the middle of the week, though, because I got a new phone. And for some reason, new phones don't come with charging cables. Or they come with a cable, but they don't come with the base. So they gave me a cable that's literally a USB-C to a USB-C.
Yeah, you have to get a new brick for that.
So I can't, and it doesn't, and my old cables were all breaking. So I can't.
You just moved to wireless charging.
So I can't, I can't get the book on my phone, David. Without a cable. There are some apps, but I don't want that one. That's fine.
True.
So I got a little cable coming.
Adapter.
Well, yeah, I was
so
gonna
if
say,
it's not an auto and Brandon Sanderson had to pick a fight with Audible on the week that I get a new phone.
I mean, he made it
on Audible. I can just download it.
Details,
but it's not. I gotta put the file directly on my phone. I gotta say, phones are stupid though.
If you do the Spotify thing though, then it just goes to your Spotify account.
Yeah,
you should do that. That's how I did the first one.
I don't do Spotify. I've got the file. I don't think I have Spotify on my phone. I don't want another app.
I will also say,
I will say, phones are a scam. Phones are silly. Phones are ridiculous. I got the phone because we switched carriers and they gave us the phones for free. This is a $1,000 phone. This is the brand new Samsung Galaxy S23. Never in my life have I ever had a top of the line brand new phone. I'm usually buying phones that are 5 years old.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I can't tell the difference. In fact, I like my old phone better.
Yep.
Just because
The
you're familiar
camera
with
is probably a little bit better resolution, but yeah, other than that,
My old phone had
they're-
some pretty
they're
good
the same.
cameras on there,
Yeah.
and these are bigger.
And anything made in the last, I don't know, 5-8 years, the camera is better than you'd find in any,
I never
camera.
would have made this purchase. I can't even fathom spending $1,000 on a phone. That's insane.
It's dumb.
I hated how much I had to spend on this phone because it used to be you could get a smartphone for under $100.
Yeah.
I remember I paid $40 for a smartphone one time. That was dude, I miss Windows phones. Windows phones were the jam.
No,
they
Windows phones
dope.
were awful.
I loved them.
Had very little interaction with them, but they were
The
it was
UI
not positive interactions.
It was so much better than what's on these. And the fact that they can give away for free a $1,000 phone for getting in return a $15 a month.
Yep.
Really illustrates how inflated the market is.
Yes.
Because
that's why they got to come out with a new one every year.
So you take 1,000. Are you guys good at math? Here, I'm gonna pull up a calculator.
Yeah.
Got 1,000. I'm gonna divide it by 15. That's 67 months. I'm gonna divide that by 12 because that'll tell us how many years.
5 years.
They don't make their money back for
6
another
years.
5 years, which tells you they're making their money back because the phone is not worth $1,000. Phones are stupid. Good night. It's been a good night. You guys have anything else to say?
3 minutes till you hit that 3-hour mark. Get out of here.
Oh shoot! Bye, Mark. Bye. Everybody, bye. My streaming service is doing that weird thing where it's stuck in Spanish, and I just cleared all the cookies and it's still not working.
¿Cuál es el problema?
It's a good thing I can read and speak in Spanish. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. We will not see you on Sunday, but I did it in March. I was daily, and not just daily, 3 videos a day, except sometimes on Sundays, which is 1. That feels super cool. I'm really tired, and I don't have any videos ready for tomorrow, so I can go to sleep, or I can keep up the trend if it's worth it. I haven't made that decision yet. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Get out of here.
Bye.
Outro longer than.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.